And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 193. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. I know you're only 2 days into the week. You're already looking forward to Friday and it being the weekend so you could go and spend time with your family and your loved ones and your wife and kids and cousins and all that stuff. But always on Tuesday, just remember this. You're not even halfway done with the week yet and your boss is still going to end up fisting you in the ass. But I know you guys always listen to the show because I know that we have a lot of people that listen to the show and not exactly watch it live, but they like listening to it afterwards. So as you guys know, I really love doing this for you. I am in a really good position where I can add episodes of my podcast pretty much every single week. The only day we really don't have this show is kind of on Sunday, which is kind of like the only day off I have from this show because that's like Cloud9 Podcast League Day. You know, we're almost at 200 episodes. That's awesome. My ultimate goal is to hit 300 episodes. You know, that's the goal for the show for the year. My big ultimate goal is hitting 1,000 episodes. You know, like, Batman Detective Comics and Superman Action Comics are on 1,000 issues. I want to be at that range. I've already hit 600 before on the Iron Man podcast. I hit 500. It's time for me that I've been doing this for so long. It's time to hit 1,000 episodes, you know, but we'll start small. You know, let's get in 100 episodes each time and then start adding it up.
Well, I mean, yeah, you got to have the 200th episode spectacular.
I'm not going to lie. When I was doing my comic book market watch, God, so many older issues were called like the X-Men Fantastic Spectacular Annual #1. So
giant-sized MSK. That's what you got.
So I know you guys are looking forward to the next episode of Comic Book Market Watch. I did it, and I had so much to talk about this week because, you know, Absolute Martian Manhunter #1, Batman issue 158. Do you know how long that second episode came out, guys? An hour. That is so much to go over. Golly, it'll be out either later on today or on Comic Book Wednesday. I have to drop one more Hush video before that one. I want them to at least be a little bit in order. So, God, so much to go over this week. So, you know, we had a plan to review the Batman Hush second edition trade paperback. That's the one we both have. But I was actually reading it. So, you know, we read the books here and we review them for you guys. I ended up having so much things happen to me that I couldn't finish it. And it literally wasn't because I didn't want to. I was reading the book. So much shit happened. As you guys know, last night, my internet just randomly went out when I was streaming League. I was so tilted that I put it in an hour-long plus stream, and then my internet fucking shitted itself for like 10 minutes, and it ruined my stream. After the MSK show with the boys, I had some other stuff I had to do. It got too messy. So moving forward into next week when we do review it on Tuesday, we're not going to do it like how you guys remember us doing the Absolute Power and the Green Lantern Back in Action Volume 1. It's going to be more like a general review, like the way we do movies here. Like if you want to flip to the pages, we can, but we're going to pretty much just like have like bullet points that like Labs wants to go over to kind of keep things more structured because, guys, that second edition trade paperback is 320 plus pages. You guys know that, right?
You're going to have a hush cushion.
So it will still be in the same similar fashion. It just won't be us going through the book. But then again, the book is so big. Guys, it's from Batman issue 608 to 619. Do you know how much my brain would fry going through the art? To be fair, Jim Lee's art's amazing. That's not the problem.
It's just great.
You know, it's so many things to tackle. Guys, do you even know how that shit started? Like, I will say this for Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb. Like, it goes to show you, and it's provable, like it's proven that literally if a ongoing series with a popular character is not going the way you think it should, you can literally just get a creative team on there and make it happen.
Well, guys, it also shows that good creative teams, that guys that like, you know, vibe together can turn out good shit.
Especially
even in a modern time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially like, because can you remember what I just said there, guys? Issue 608. Do you know how long it takes to get to 600 plus issues? Very, very, very long time. So at that point, at that late into the Batman ongoing series, and that series came out, what, early 2010s? Before that, 2008, I think. Somewhere around there, right when it first started, I think.
Yeah, it might have been 2006.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
It's somewhere there.
Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb were like, you know what? sales are probably not going the way we want. We'll just take over and we'll just start doing it our way. But as you guys know, Jim Lee has this lazy tendency about him where literally if he does art for too long, he doesn't come on a book for very, very long. Why do you guys think he's not been on an ongoing series in forever? Well, because, and I don't mean this to say this like he's lazy in a bad way. It's just more like,
oh, wow. 2002, man.
Damn.
2002. And
he wanted after Crisis. Yeah, that's after Batman Fugitive. Yeah.
What's crazy is this. This is the craziest part about Hush. Mm-hmm. They didn't miss a month. October of 2002 to September of 2003. That's crazy.
Holy fucking shit, Jim Lee. Holy Christ, man.
They must have like tied him to his chair and like
he must be getting paid some big bucks.
Fed him stimulants all day.
He wasn't the chief editor at DC at the time. He wasn't. It was someone else. No. Yeah. Because he became the editor in chief way later on. So
yes.
They had to, because keep in mind.
Well, yeah, because that was way before Rebirth and stuff.
Do you remember the Hush 2 announcement was that they basically had to clarify for people because Jim Lee's kind of lazy that they already had him put in 5 to 6 issues to make sure it's like you have a consistent streamline of comic books coming out.
and I think it's also funny that there's 2 other dudes drawing this and they still gave like a 9-month like like it's coming out in 9 months. Well, it would be 10 months now. So
we got to get some more issues under our belt.
And he still has 2 other people drawing it.
You know what Lunchbox Warren told us? Warren, I agree. When you have an artist that good, interior artists fucking hard. I never say artists are doing a bad job. Generally, when you have an artist of that degree, but there should be this thing of like, okay, if I have to have this deadline. Guys, you have it at your work. You have deadlines. I have deadlines at work. We get them done. I understand art's a little different because you're sitting. I
would compare it to like maybe like Dan Mora and like Jorge Jimenez, who are like top tier guys, that still get their shit in.
Yeah, and the reason why we know it's no excuse for Jim Lee is because you just mentioned Dan Mora, guys. You know how many ongoing series Dan Mora does and how many covers he does in the industry.
Dude. Think of back in the day. I mean, Whilce Portacio. I mean, that dude.
Yeah.
That dude, I mean, if you go back and look at some of the X-Men before Jim Lee was on it, right before, like when Portacio was doing, it's comparable, man. It's freaking, and that dude was fantastic. Like that dude, he's very underrated in game. But like you got guys like Mark Silvestri, that it's like, yeah, we get it.
Gosh, man. What's up, Michael? How you doing, man? Eric Guapo, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Hope you're having a good day, dude.
He just
Savage Chad. Tomorrow, me and Professor Savage Chad are going to be doing a comic book review on Bug Wars #1, which is Jason Aaron's new creator-owned IP at Image Comics, and that's something that I'll get into later today or tomorrow when we have that show. Was like, I think that's where we're going to see a lot of these bigger legacy creators head to. Is like eventually they're going to do stuff for Marvel and DC. They always will because they need that cloud. But I do see an end game for a lot of guys like Jason Aaron or even James Tynion IV doing like books for Image Comics or Dark Horse to have your own creator-owned stuff to maybe one day, hopefully, you think the company is going to sell it to a Netflix pitch or something because like what's the end game in just writing a bunch of comic books for Marvel? We know Marvel pays shit. Dude, Marvel pays what like, you know the Power Ranger story about Jason, Trini, and Zach getting mad at like them not getting paid as much as like McDonald's workers. That's the same shit that happens in comics apparently at Marvel. They make less than fast food workers at Burger King and McDonald's or Starbucks baristas. That's terrible. Yeah. There's no job security in that.
I know that there's certain people that, like we were talking about, who can get their stuff done, but there's also like, like why wouldn't you want to go over to Image? Look what Johns is doing. And the funny thing is like we were talking about, people seem to be okay with Fabok being, like saying, hey, we did our 6 issues. Understand. It's going to be months. Then you're going to get the other 6, but at least whenever it's out, it's going to be out on on time. We're going to tell you when
even Image help them with that too. To add on to what you said, Image, the trade comes out, I think not this week coming up, but the next one or the one after that.
Hickman did the Substacks too.
Yeah. And then they announced an oversized hardcover for it too. So they're at least giving people a nice form of collected editions.
Dude, do you know how nice that's going to be in hardcover?
It's so good.
I read all 6 issues of that, dude. That shit is.
Would you imagine that in oversized hardcover? My God,
that's gonna be
Woo!
That dude's
Great.
art is crazy, man.
I got another work thing, maybe a little late, not so sure yet. Well, let me know. That way, if you can't make it, then we got to put together a show with the boys. Maybe Laps, me and Warren and Jared will come back for another boys' night. You never know. But Laps hates us. He's going to be pulling out his white rage on us very, very soon.
Grrr. How dare you get off my lawn?
You're not helping the cause here.
I've never been for the cause.
Then there's also the throat goats. Ooh, good lord. Okay, Lord. Okay.
Throat goats.
Yeah, I see just a lot of creators doing that more. Like Jeff Johns was probably the biggest one in recent memory, just making Ghost Machine, taking a character like Geiger and what's the other one he had? Junkyard Joe, and just putting them under the
Junkyard
Ghost
Joe
Machine
was
imprint.
Awesome. I thought that was a really
part of the Ghost Machine imprint. That's supposed to be it's a different thing from mine too, for some reason.
It's I don't know why it's not. I'm assuming because of the way the story is told. Possibly it doesn't fit the massive hero. It's more like a war story and more of an emotional. This guy, got saved by this robot in the war, and now he's a cartoonist and animator or whatever, or he's a guy that draws.
Or maybe you want to do it tonight behind the back of a pizza parlor. I'm joking. We'll talk about it later in DMs. It's just it's one of those other things.
Yes, that's what we were talking about, Guapo. We were talking about Rook first.
Rook too. Yeah.
Yes,
That's
what we were talking about originally.
You need that though. Like I understand why some of these guys have books that come out through Image and Dark Horse, because they're using it kind of like as a fail safe, just in case they have no other work coming from Marvel and DC. Some of these guys are always going to get like work always, but it's just like
they can be more creative. They can be more creative. They're not,
and you actually own that. It's not like fucking Marvel
but
and DC.
they're not held to 60, 70 years of continuity that they have to write within.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you guys ever read
Philadelphia?
No, I never read that. Who's that by? That sounds kind of interesting, honestly. Hi, Emily. How you doing? So today, guys,
Emily,
we'll be going over some topics for you guys in a little bit here. I'm going to set them up. We have some fun ones, 2 comic book related ones, and 1 Power Rangers one I really, really wanted to get to, because as you guys know, there's been some recent Power Ranger news. And as you guys know, I've been watching this ever since I was literally a little kid. So I've been a fan of it for literally my entire life. So gonna have a nice way of talking about it, and as I always say, there's way more better seasons than Mighty Morphin. There just is, But
then what?
Power Rangers?
There's way more better seasons of Mighty Morphin than the other seasons.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just cover when we get to it. It's too much there.
He's
already getting the white rage out of me. I'm gonna start my black.
Well, you made a statement, and I'm asking, then what? What were you comparing?
I would say my better seasons of Mighty Morphin would be In Space, Lost Galaxy.
Okay, so see, when you say Mighty Morphin, I'm thinking you're talking about the original.
Yeah.
3 seasons.
Yeah. I think season 1 is fine. I think season 2 has highs and lows. There's some really great highs and lows there. But season 3 is, I try to rewatch season 3. Season 3 is so bad. Season 3 sucks complete ass. It's awful.
I like it for a different reason than most people. I was fascinated with Godzilla. I was fascinated with Godzilla whenever I was a kid, and when I saw rubber-suited monsters and superheroes at the same time, I didn't care what the story was about. I was just like, I'm in. And they use martial arts. I mean, that was I don't know.
People say it's for me to watch the Super Sentai. I watched 1 Super Sentai before. It was the Gokaiger one. It was really, really good. If ever I have free time, I'll go back and watch a lot of them. It's just, Power Rangers has a lot of interesting, rich history. It's good that another thing is announced for it, because, it feels kind of weird for it not to have a new thing, but
there's some good Super Sentai. There is.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them are just, if you don't know the Japanese culture and don't understand their jokes and like what they think is funny. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's like me talking to you when you make jokes, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, but my jokes are funny and they're hilarious and they make you guys
right.
Laugh. Yeah.
But
God,
yeah,
man.
it's like that. I mean, I think I have like 10 or 11 box sets of the Super Sentai.
Good gosh, man. It's another thing when we deal with like comic books, it's just like I would say to people, try to read many different forms of them. That way you can kind of gauge like what styles you like, what kind of art styles you enjoy, what kind of books really speak to you. Because you have people that are such in one camp. They're like, I'm only reading these books, and it's like that. If you like that, that's fine. But I feel like that kind of just like hinders you on exploring and trying out different books. I would never want to like read just only one comic book or several from just one company. That just wouldn't sound fun at all. Honestly.
No, I mean, I did that a lot whenever I was younger, and that's like why I had my affinity for DC. That was just that's how I was introduced to things. Like the first comic book I ever read was not the first comic book that I ever bought. First one I ever bought on my own was a Starman book, but the first one that I ever read, my grandfather, he see, there you go.
Wow. He's only doing that to suck up to you because you're new. Once you become
I think I'm not new anymore. I wouldn't say I'm newer.
Once you get like 30 episode appearances in, then you're considered like old. I consider you a veteran.
Fine.
That's what the comic book pros say, man. You got to pay your dues to this industry,
Oh, I bet I've been paying dues to you ever since the day I decided to answer that Twitter message, which was like 9 months later. It shows you how like up to date I am on anything.
He put me on red like my wife does, guys. That's how.
No, I didn't. Nuh-uh. No, I didn't. I just never read it because I never used Twitter or X. And one day I did send you that on there.
That Facebook thing you said. I sent the thing you wanted.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
But I remember I opened up. I thought it was still Twitter. That's how long ago that was. And I was like, what the hell? I looked on my phone and it was like, when the apps change, and I was like, what the hell is X? I was like, I never downloaded it, and I hit it and I was like, oh, it's Twitter. And then I saw this little message and it was like from this guy named Misk, the top G and Riz master. I was like, what the fuck is this? But it worked out.
Well, no one needs to know who this is about because I'm making a joke, and it is trash talk and it is flame. But
about me.
No. Just a person had said that they had left the show, and I was like, you know what? Well, it's fine because I can just get better people. And you crazy that anytime people leave the show, I always find better people. That's just what it is,
Dude, if me and Savage Dad leave the show, dude, you ain't finding anybody better than us.
I don't know if I can. It'd be hard to replace you guys. That's hard, I
mean, damn. You just can't.
I don't know if I
can. Not saying that the other people aren't good. I like Lunchbox Warren, one of my favorite people.
He's a race swapped version of you that I hired.
I don't know how to. I don't know. See, some of the time I just don't know what to say with you. There's some times where I'm just like,
no. This is my house. Actually, I'm just in my second part of my house.
No, you are 100% correct, Guapo. He does not have a bed.
If Laps leaves, the channel dies. You know what's crazy? People have said that for many, many years, and I'm still here. To be fair, technically, this is not my first channel. I actually, under YouTube rules,
he doesn't know that the guy that used to wear a mask on his channel, it was actually me. And then when I left, the channel exploded. He just doesn't realize that I've been watching you.
God.
From afar.
Sounds like some fucking anime mentor who watched it. Fucking.
That's what I do, man.
I've been watching you from afar, watching you grow into the man you were supposed to be. I could have helped you when you were getting bullied, but fuck you, right?
No, when you were getting bullied, that shit was funny as fuck. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Even you're laughing now.
God, man. Oh, before we go into the actual topics, you wanted to talk about this, so I actually make sure to bookmark this on Twitter so we can talk about it because I wanted to get my opinions on it too. So you wanted to talk about some of the stuff regarding like the absolute universe. So guys, this is not a topic. This is just a general kind of like quick topic thing.
So
I wanted to bring this up really quickly because you wanted to go over it, which is this right here. Give me like literally a second. it just looks so weird. I'm just pointing out. So, oh God. Okay, so this is what you wanted to talk about because you want to go over the absolute Batman universe and what they're going to be offering later on. So we already reviewed the first 5 issues. We'll be reviewing issue number 6 very, very soon, which concludes the Zoo arc. And
I think it only does it in name, but it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we were talking, if you go back to the episode where you asked me, what do you think is next? If you remember, I said that I think that the main thing is the Joker coming in and we find out that possibly that, Black Mask is more of a, speaking point. Because it seems that Joker was the one behind this whole thing. That's what it feels like to me. And did you read number 6?
Not yet. I haven't got my new shipment in yet. Apparently I heard it's really, really good. No, that's fine.
Very good. I don't want to ruin it for you.
So, we had some updates regarding the Absolute universe. So we had Absolute Batman Rogue so far. You have Absolute Black Mask, Absolute Mr. Freeze, Absolute Bane, and Absolute Joker. So the one that got the most controversy was obviously Absolute Bane because, as you guys know, Graham Nolan, one of the co-creators of Bane, was not very happy with the design of Absolute Bane. So right here we have Joker, and you have Bane and Mr. Freeze and everything. Mr. Freeze, that looks like a mixture of Man-Bat.
It looks like Slender Man.
Yeah, it looks like Slender Man meets Man-Bat. Like
I think Bane looks fine, except his head. His head, if you look to the left of his head,
yeah,
like that, his trapezius or whatever that is, that makes his head look very small,
like
comparatively to the rest of him.
That's my only real issue with it is that his head is too small. Everything else looks completely fine. Like
it's fine. Yes.
And
it could be just one picture.
Yeah, yeah. And this definitely doesn't do it justice. Like we've seen the whole Rob Liefeld version of Captain America, super buff, small head. Oh Lord, man. That day when that image got released, Twitter was on fire back in the day. Joker's doesn't really do him a lot of justice either. This looks
okay.
So
we don't,
junky.
You don't, yeah, but you're not supposed to really see his face the way that it is at the end, right? Is there's like a light over here, so it's like casting a shadow. I just wanted to know what the hell is all over him because I said the same thing when I got done with. I was like, what the fuck is all over him? It looked weird.
I understand where Graham's coming from to a certain extent because he is the co-creator, but this looks really nothing different from some of the more muscle versions of Bane that we got. Like, it's literally just his head that's the issue. If his head was a little bit more bigger, it's fine. I think it looks fine in my opinion. I don't really see the big issue.
How is that any different than this small ass head? What is that?
I forgot the...
Look at him.
The guy that drew that, man, that looks so good. Like, look at that. At what you just post, look at that. Look at that cover art right there compared to that. And someone wants to tell me with a straight face this looks better. No way. That looks way better. No,
it doesn't look better, but I mean, look at this back. I mean, what the hell is that?
Damn. Ooh, I love muscle definition. Good old 90s.
It's just, don't get me wrong, and I still think it's fantastic, but we'll see. I don't try to over step when it comes to one picture,
Yeah, me neither.
The only time I could say that honestly was whenever I saw the Absolute Martian Manhunter, because that was just like, I don't even know what the fuck that was. That was just awful.
Absolute Martian Manhunter. I know you guys were hyped for it on League of Comics Geeks. I even said it in my Market Watch video. The story could be very well written. That art looks so bad. I do not want to support a book with art that bad. That is such a phoned-in artist. I don't know who did it. I didn't even care. The art looks so unbelievably terrible. No way I'm paying $4.99 for that. Not even close. I wouldn't pay $4.99 if you strapped me to a chair and got me butt naked and told me to watch fucking, I don't know, Catwoman on loop for 20 hours straight. I'm good.
Eric the Guapo says, I hope the whole Absolute Universe flops and we get. I mean, I don't, because it's going to be tying into the regular universe. I hope it doesn't flop. I just think that they need to be able to write good stories for the regular universe.
I think only Batman might eventually have that, because like Wonder Woman, you could see the ceiling for that book longer that goes on. But Superman, you said it's okay.
Okay, so Superman. So Superman has down parts, but the highs are very good.
Mm-hmm.
The highs are very good, but there's
you can see a future where Superman keeps going. Like you could see where.
Yeah. The way that they're taking the story and they're taking it slow. I will say the 5th issue when he finally like kind of freaks out. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
What else is there? That's pretty much it for the Absolute Universe so far.
I just want them to, at some point in time, show us that what we read in the one shot is actually going to happen. I mean, if you look at it, we're now 4 series in, because Ultimate or Absolute Flash, which I thought was awesome. I liked it a lot, is now here. There's, all of these things. So maybe Flash will be the one that goes there. I don't know, but Booster Gold is just gone. He's just gone. And that bothers me, because he was like the major linchpin of the whole thing. And you have not mentioned him through like 25 books have come out through 4 different series and Justice League Unlimited.
Just
Airwave got more time than the guy that set up the whole thing.
I just want to point out right here before we get into our first topic that Absolute Wonder Woman, guys, the next part, because I mentioned this when we were reviewing issue 3 with Lunchbox Warren last Friday? Yeah, last Friday.
I mean, I've read all of them.
Right here, the next arc is going to be Absolute Wonder Woman, the Lady or the Tiger. I'm pretty sure this is just setting up Cheetah, but no spoilers, right? Nothing too spoiler about this title, right? Wonder Woman. Look at this right here. Part 1 of 2.
Yeah.
Is that what some of these books are going to end up being for the Absolute Universe when they blow their load in the first arc? Is they're going to have 2-part issues? I hope not.
No. Because I mean, you keep saying they're blowing their load, but they haven't even done any of their massive.
No, I just say I hope they don't end up blowing their load too soon.
Well, they can't. You can't if you haven't done like the biggest villains. Like Batman is moving in that direction, but they could hold off. They could literally hold off on Joker, the actual encounter, for a while. And that art looks great, by the way, for the Wonder Woman. I think it's pretty awesome. The art that they've done for Absolute Wonder Woman, people either love it or hate it. I think it looks a little bit weird, but it's been cool. Like it's cool. I
just the idea behind it. It's okay.
I just wish that if they're going to do Absolute Wonder Woman, do something completely different. And I know they're like, it is, but it's like, no, it's pretty much the same thing, except you came from hell, and instead of everything being God related, it's hell related. You know what I mean? Like, oh, she has a freaking horse. Cool.
A horse with no skin.
Yeah. And like, I know you were talking about the what do you call it? I was trying to say something to you guys. You guys were talking about her arm. The thing that she had on.
Worst hand job of all time.
Yeah. But here's the thing: like, you got to remember, like, that's not going to be there, because if you remember, you'll find out in the next issue how she lost her arm, how she actually lost it, and that'll tell you why she had to put that on for a second. Because the arm that you see her lose in the first couple of issues was not her original arm.
So you're saying that I'm going to get a better hand job compared to the one I thought it was.
Well, yeah, because it's magic that replaced it. That original arm that the demon thing took off, fighting it, that was a magic arm. So she just needed something until she could get stuff to do a spell. She actually lost her arm saving Steve Trevor in hell.
So the next 3 books that you think the Absolute Universe is going to be announcing, because they did Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Trinity, then they had Martian Manhunter, Flash, and Green Lantern. Who are the next 3 you think they're going to be announcing?
I hope that there's not, because the more I think
You
it
don't think
needs
they
to be
need any more? You think they're just good with what they have?
No, and I don't think they need a Martian Manhunter unless it's something that literally ties everything
Yeah.
together. Because that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. I don't care who comes in and writes it. We've just seen that
Not with art like that.
No,
That ain't moving any
even if
needles.
here's the thing, even if the art was great, nobody buys Martian Manhunter singular books. They just don't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like,
so, I mean,
that's the way I always thought about it too. Because like there was this guy on Facebook where he was like, "Well, I think more options are good," but that's not the. I always tell people this: more options can be good given the circumstances that surround more options. So, like you're talking about food,
more
right?
options can be good if the options are good.
Yeah, like let's use fast food. Having did that those many options is technically good because you get to decide which one you want to support more based off of which one tastes better to you. But that's how you know that it works, to be fair, because there's a lot of people that go and buy that shit. Guys, comic books doesn't work like that. In comic books, when people don't, let's say when the store owners don't want to buy the book, it completely just they cancel it. It instantly cancels. And all this extra filler just doesn't mean anything because we know there's not enough readership to support that book. Guys, Martian Manhunter has not had an ongoing series since 2012.
And even that one, it didn't do anything. It got canceled.
Yeah, he's one of those characters where, like, there's certain characters that can only work when they're a part of a group or when you see them in a different format, like in animation or in, like, live action. Because if you guys really support those characters, you buy the books. But you don't. I don't know why people sit here and lie to us, dude. They're like, I'm really a big fan of John Jones. I love Martian Manhunter. Which version? The one from Smallville. Oh, great. So not a comic. All right. So what are we doing here?
Like, I mean, I'd rather have a smaller amount of good books than a lot of watered down books where you have to figure out what's good and what's not. And, you know, that's what I think. I wish they all succeeded, but let's be real, they're not going to happen. It's not going to happen
because not every character has the same level of readership the other characters do. And I don't think the average person gets that though. Martian Manhunter, guys, is a character that only really is known because of like the animated live action stuff. He's not really known for like comic book stuff. He's known for certain things in comic books, like being as powerful as Superman, doing cerertain things in certain stories, but it's not like a character that has
but like, did they ever show it? They don't really like he doesn't you know, like these
are more like stated things and actually
he's like the Star Trek communicator for the Justice League.
Yeah, and I like John. I like the idea of the character, the backstory. It's cool and all, but they don't do anything with it. And you're gonna tell me with that ugly ass artwork from fucking that new book that's coming out this week? Jesus Christ, hell no, guys! I just in good conscience can't support a book like that. The art looks so bad. It literally looks like a bunch of kindergartners went up to a fucking chalkboard or a dry erase board and just started scribbling. It literally looks so bad. Why would I ever support that? I would support that literally if you actually promised me Scarlett Johansson would suck my dick from the back. I'm good. And that's the other thing that you said as well. It's like if it's going to be a universe where basically Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are going to be basically kind of, you know, keeping the sales up for the most part. Like Flash can do it, but then again, you have to write certain Flash stories that don't get too confusing when you're involving like time travel and other Flashes. Now, the reason why this one you said can work is because it's not bogged down by the Speed Force, which is not in the book. It's not bogged down by these other Flashes that can confuse people. So it can work.
I mean, it's only the first issue, so we don't know everything. It had a very good story where being the Flash wasn't centric to the story that was being told. It definitely had that in there, but we don't even know what it is yet.
Right.
That's the thing. And
do you have any hope in Absolute Green Lantern? It's like,
yeah, I mean, I like Green Lantern. I do.
Yeah.
But
a black
Green Lantern has I don't care about that. Green Lantern has such a rich like history and
what was this one being taken away from? You know, like the Absolute Universe has stuff taken away from them. What is Green Lantern's deal in the Absolute Universe?
Civil rights.
Oh fuck. Oh shit. All right. Now we're just circling the drain. Shit.
But Eric the Guapo says Ostrander and Mandrake's Manhunter was great. Yeah, it was. I think that's the only Martian Manhunter thing that like went past 12 issues. I believe that was 38 issues. And I have most of that. It's just like the same thing. Ostrander's Spectre, you know what I mean? Like that shit was awesome. There's just some guys that can do those things. But for some reason nowadays, they don't put those people that can write.
Characters like Martian Hunter need a person on the book that truly can make the character interesting enough to last an ongoing series, because he just doesn't have the amount of people that like him compared to some of the other guys that are just going to be like supporting the book instantly. And I tell people this, it's not saying he's a bad character. It's just say, like, you know, certain people just don't care for other characters the same way.
Yeah, exactly. It is, and he's right though. That was a very good run. That was, and it's like Ostrander's the only guy, like, besides a few here's and there's, they got me to read the Spectre. You know,
like, how do you make the Spectre? That's an OP as fuck character. How do you get him to work in an ongoing series? You know,
well, he had a bunch. It was just the way that the way that he affects things. They don't have, okay, so besides like the New Gods, and so they don't have like where Marvel has like all those cosmic beings that, you know, that get to have their own history and they interact with each other. So it's like a big thing. It's like always like when Galactus would show up, you knew something big was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the same thing with, you know, like the Beyonder, and they turned it into the Beyonders, stuff like that, which needed to happen, because that Beyonder, I'm sorry, from freaking Secret Wars 2 was one of the dumbest things. And the way Hickman did it was great. He was like, oh, that was like just an idiot baby. Like, he was just a moron. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Imagine,
that was like
it's crazy.
Stupidest.
That's considered one of the strongest, most OP characters to exist in Marvel Comics. And they were like, it's just part of something else. Like, okay, just all right. What the fuck?
No, if you read it, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Hickman made sense. And because if you read the Secret Wars 2, dude, it is one of...
There's one, the one they made later on,
in
not
the
the original one? Okay.
No, there was Secret Wars, the original one, which was based... It was like considered the first crossover event, but basically, look at the history of it. It came from toys.
Yeah.
It came from a toy line, so they made a comic book.
Godzilla versus ex-Marvel character was first. Didn't that one come out in the 70s first? I think, right?
They call this one the first massive crossover because it's
so weird, because Godzilla would classify as a major crossover, wouldn't it? Because he appeared in Marvel Comics for few versus books, right? I think I could be wrong.
I mean, I don't know. I am
not a history buff. Why are you not?
I don't know Marvel history like some of the other things that I just don't. I'm starting to learn it, but I will.
Secret Wars was to sell toys. I remember that.
Yeah, it was to sell toys. I was alive during.
You were alive. Time. You're not. You're a MILF now. A DILF.
Just stop. You need to stop. So, you know, but that, even the original Secret Wars, I read that now and I'm like, oh my God, dude, there's some cool stuff in it, but like there's some really bad stuff in it.
So before we go into the stuff,
really bad stuff,
do you generally think like older comics are a little overrated? You think they have the nostalgia goggles on for a lot of people?
No. It depends. I think when people say all older stuff is better,
right.
Yes. But no, generally like 80s and 90s stuff, the good stuff, I think is better than the good stuff that comes out now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, same thing happens with movies too. Like,
I think it was more consistent. The art was more consistent.
Yeah.
Because like I even said, like the stupid Starman comic that I liked, right? You look at that art, dude, it's awesome. It is really, really good. And people cared. I think it was more of a thriving business, so people cared more. And you could tell there wasn't like tons of books that came out that just looked like shit. You know, like there's so many books that come out now, like that just look like garbage. And that's their whole, like Squirrel Girl. I know it's a joke, right? But you look at it and it looks like shit.
Came out this week. And people ask me, they'll be like, MSK, could you cover the Harley Quinn fart book? I was like, no. I was like, that's disgusting. I wouldn't support that just off principle alone, because I think that's gross.
You think farts are gross?
No, it's just like, why would I ever pay $4.99 for a comic book where a girl's intricate storytelling is her farting. Like, why? That wouldn't even make me laugh if I read the book. That's just kind of stupid. Why am I wasting money?
Well, of course it's a stupid idea. Of course it is. It's
That's
dumb.
just comics.
It is 100% stupid. There is no reason that book should exist. 100%.
Yeah, there's the one that hyper focuses on Nightwing's ass that they didn't even release physical. It's just all digital. They didn't even want to. It was crazy. They didn't want to waste the money printing it physically, but they're going to waste money printing the Harley Quinn fart butthole book. Really?
Well, I mean, I think you could sell women's ass more than you can men's, even in drawn form. They have this whole industry, believe it or not, that deals with just that subject. And listen, this is kind of funny. Okay, this is a funny story. So back in my drug days, back when I was doing drugs like a champ, and snorting
half stereotypical at all,
Oh no, I was snorting like half a Peru and everything else involved. So I used to go down to the porno store because they would sell whippets, and whippets always went really good when you're like taking acid, stuff like that. It was fantastic. So I went in there one day and I was tripping balls. Like I was fucking fucked up, right? I went in there to get whippets. I walk in, and when you go into a porno shop, it's just, you see the worst things possible, But I walk in and I turn to the left and I look and I'm just mesmerized. One of the biggest posters I've ever seen in my life, right? And I'm just staring there. And this guy comes up behind me and he's like, "It's pretty fucking cool, isn't it?" I just didn't even say anything. What I was staring at was a poster that had a woman with her back towards you, looking back like this. She had on this little belt with a slingshot, and it said, "Anus the Menace." I wanted that poster. I tried to buy it. The guy would not sell it to me. I wanted Anus the Menace, the poster. And that's what you get from a Nightwing ass book. Anus the Menace. Don't do drugs, children. And if you do the good ones. MSK needs some drugs. He's like,
me?
Oh, wait. Yes.
Drugs? That's crazy. I would never do those things called drugs.
Well,
why would I ever do those
not
things?
all drugs are good,
True.
Some of them are great.
You sound like a complete drug addict. Holy shit.
I mean, dude, I was for a very long time.
Gosh, good Lord.
I'm sober now. Like, dude, like I haven't had a drink or anything in over 10 years.
Oh no, that's awesome. You went to like those AA meetings and shit like that?
No. Nope.
No? Just all self.
I think the only way you can really get sober, not saying that those like rehab and stuff doesn't work. If you want it, that's the only way. Like you can't get sober for someone else or anything like that. You have to want it yourself. Because I tried, do it for my children, do it for this. It just never worked. Once I wanted it and I was done with it, then it was like it was sucked. Don't get me wrong. It sucked because I was heavily addicted, but
God,
it was.
I understand why people do it sometimes too. Like I never do drugs. I don't even drink and all like that. But sometimes life is so boring. Sometimes you realize to yourself you got to spice it up in any way. I think that's why people still do drugs, because sometimes life can just get really fucking boring. There's nothing to do. Like once you already achieve stuff like you already have, what is there more to do?
I mean, I can honestly tell you the reason why I did drugs. I could tell you 100% is I shattered my ankle, and the doctor put me on a ton of opiates. And after 4 years, they just cut me off, and I didn't know
that's another
really
common
anything
thing
about
too. Like,
addiction.
Have like bad accidents, like the one you had, and when they're trying to get you healed, so they give you all this addictive medicine, and then you're like, oh shit, it's gone. But I need this addictive medicine because now you're addicted. Now you have a drug problem.
Yes.
Fuck.
That's created more drug addicts than a lot of things. But yeah, I knew what I was doing, and I made that choice after they cut me off. I made that choice, and I knew what I was doing. A lot of people will tell you like they don't know, or they know. They feel it's a disease or something, and that's fine. You could think that, I don't, I don't
No, but you can
challenge
see the
that, but
bullshit on certain
I
things.
don't
Yeah.
know, many diseases besides diabetes that you could just give yourself, you know. So, I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, that was a tangent. So let's get back to Anus the Menace.
No. I just don't buy certain people's bullshit. I just don't. Once you get older, you stop doing it. Like, I know you're like, you know what? I don't care as much about people's bullshit. For me, it just kind of gnaws at me that someone would just consistently lie to themselves and they know they're full of shit, but they just don't want to accept reality. And then they start believing their own bullshit to the point where it's like you're not even accepting what's going on.
I could tell you this. When you're on something that is massively addictive, let's say like heroin or something like that,
Mess.
right? You lose all sense of that. Your
Crazy?
truth, the truth
Yeah.
in the real world is not what you're in. You're not
Oh
in
no,
that
I wasn't even
world.
talking about drug addicts. I was talking about like just regular people.
Oh, just liars in general.
Yeah, just man. God,
no, I know what you
man.
mean. Yeah.
I'd rather just someone just be, when you get older, I just rather someone just be honest with me. That way I completely understand where you're coming from and I can either engage with what you're gonna say or I can disengage it. Because
I mean, I just, when I was an addict, I had, I was a liar and a piece of shit.
so what's changed now? That was a setup. You gave
I don't
me a
lie.
on that one.
I'm still a piece of shit, but I just don't want to remember
Hey, you're a
lies.
Timberwolves fan? How
I don't
dare
want to
you be a
remember
Timberwolves
lies
fan?
at all.
Guys, I was
too
watching the
much.
recent Laker games. It's not good. It's bad.
What the 3 games that you lost? Now it's awful.
There's so many turnovers.
You California fans. You guys. I'm so sick of hearing about the Lakers. I'm so tired of it.
Why?
Because they're in 4th place, 3rd place, and people are like, the Lakers saved the NBA season. They haven't done dick. They had like,
aren't they like what? They're like 44 and
like a
30
good
or something.
Weeks. They had a good 2 weeks.
That wasn't even because of LeBron. It was because of Luka Doncic fucking popping off.
Of both of them. LeBron was out for like 4 games. So I mean,
LeBron, man, that Celtics thing he pulled where he God, he's such a fucking.
It's look.
But you just see the Laker game recently. All those turnovers, man.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Like,
there was
just
a ton of
terrible
turnovers
like,
by everybody.
I don't even think the team is bad. I think maybe they
got away from playing defense. That's what they've done. During that stretch of their winning, they were like 2nd in the league in defense in that 14 game stretch.
Jackson Hayes has been a pretty good surprise. Austin Reeves has been good. Luka's been a good addition. It's just
when you get away from playing defense consistently, especially when you're a team that has to spread the ball, you got 2 guys that are not good off ball. They have to have the ball in their hands.
True.
So it's very hard when you're not fully committing to the defense.
Right.
And it's hard because Luka's not a great defender. You know what I mean? LeBron can be. He can when he wants to be.
But the amount of times that Austin Reeves just leaves his man open for it's so bad, man. They got just completely clapped by the Bucks. They got destroyed by not the Magic. They played the Magic last night.
I'd watch
out. The team before that.
The Warriors are playing good with Jimmy Butler. That could be a team that's scary again. Just because
the Thunder's playing good.
The Thunder, obviously, yes. Yeah. It's just whenever you have a team that's won that many championships and they still have mostly their Klay Thompson, let's just be honest, that injury destroyed him.
Yeah,
he just can't even spot up and shoot anymore. You know what I mean?
Mavs, now looking back on what you said on some episodes ago when you were first coming on, when the Mavs did that trade for Luka and Anthony Davis, guys, looking at
right. I was right.
I legitimately think about it now differently now. I think they just didn't like him for whatever reason something happened. And
I can tell you exactly what it is. Do you want to know what it is? I'll tell you.
Or it's the money. What you said was money. And I disagree with that.
Listen, the family that owns the 78% or whatever it is, right? They own tons of casinos in Las Vegas. When people go to LA, half of that crowd that goes there, half is diehards, half are people that are there to see an event. Yeah, what is 4 hours away from LA?
Vegas.
What did they not want to do with Luka Doncic? They did not want to pay him for 5 years for $300 something.
I remember that. Yeah.
But if you move him to Los Angeles, not only does that help your casinos with tourism, but it also gets that giant hole out of your play. And they're not even Mark Cuban said when he sold, look, this is not a basketball family. They don't care about basketball.
Yeah.
All they want is either they want to bring gambling to Dallas, and since it doesn't look like that's going to happen, they want to move that team.
No, and I did disagree with you. I agree it's money based because we knew his contract was coming up and they had to pay him a lot of money. I also think it was because whatever happened behind the scenes that people were talking about, like he had some issues with the coaches or anything. I think both.
He didn't have any issues with Jason Kidd.
There was some rumors I was going through.
Look at Jason Kidd during that interview when general manager thought Jason Kidd looked like someone just stole his grandchild from him. He is not happy.
Yeah,
he's not happy at all.
Those are the only two options that have to
okay,
be. Yeah.
So your big thing is, oh, he's gonna get injured and blah blah. So you bring in Anthony Davis,
who literally gets injured constantly, is out multiple games a season.
He got injured in the first game.
That's why I knew they.
And they only talked to
the Mavericks are going to win now,
Lakers.
Right?
They only talked to them. Dude, look what happened as soon as they did. Davis goes down in the first game. During that time when he's out, and he came back last night or the night before, whatever, Kyrie Irving gets injured. Like, come on,
he's
dude.
injured.
That's cursed.
Yeah,
that's
they didn't sell Luka, guys, because people said they have to win a championship now if you're going to add in Anthony Davis. That wasn't the goal. They just didn't want to pay him the money. So they didn't
want to pay him the money, and they can make. It's so weird to say, but they can make more money with him in Los Angeles.
Yeah. And to be fair, the Lakers got the better end of the trade. They did.
Of course they did. They got a 25-year-old generational talent.
In the offseason, their biggest signing was Bronny. And people were like, man, that sucks. Everyone else is getting these big signings, and they got Bronny. No, they have now Luka Doncic, which is way better.
But anyway, I'm so sick of hearing about them. I am so tired of hearing about them. People are like, oh, they saved the NBA season. They're the thing to talk about. And it's like, dude, Cleveland and Oklahoma
I'll say this.
Been playing great.
When Jason Tatum said, remember after Celtics beat them, he did say that when they're both playing good.
Of course they are. Yeah. When they're both playing good, people care because they have
care more.
Rivalry and blah, blah, blah.
They're the big dogs for a reason.
Nobody outside of there gives a shit.
Yeah, but it does bring out a lot more hype, though, if they're good, though.
It does bring out a lot more hype, 100%. But if you don't build other teams,
the Warriors have did it over the years. They did a really good job of doing it.
Yes, and they still had. That's the last. The Warriors and the Cavs was the last time that the NBA Finals brought in numbers.
Yeah,
it's been going down ever since.
We actually
we can't even say with the Celtics. Yeah, because last year that nobody cared.
No, we actually went over the amount of teams with the biggest fan bases. It was Lakers, Celtics, Knicks, and if it was another fourth one, Chicago. So Chicago's in there, because obviously it's like Michael Jordan's legacy, the Bulls. Oh, that's a team that got destroyed by the Bulls. Oh my God, they got clapped. That shit was terrible.
And it's like, I mean, I grew up, Mario Lemieux and Michael Jordan were my heroes growing up. And I got to see Michael Jordan play. I got to see Michael Jordan play 2 times. Now I had to go to Cleveland to see it, and I had to sit all the way at the top, and I couldn't see really shit. But I had binoculars. I had binoculars. I was there.
Dude,
and the second time, I got to see him against my second favorite player, Sean Kemp, because he got traded to Cleveland, and that was his last good year.
You speak about LA. That's what people did here to go to see cheap NBA games. Because you guys remember when the Clippers were just absolutely, completely dog shit before they got like Blake Griffin and all that hype came in. People would literally buy Clippers tickets just to go see NBA games because they didn't want to pay the expensive tickets for the Lakers. Lakers tickets are expensive, guys.
They're very expensive. Even like top of below. Like,
do you remember how much tickets were going for when Kobe was about to retire? Oh my God.
Well, dude, it was the same. Like, that's why I was so surprised. I actually got to see Michael Jordan, play on his farewell tour. My uncle got those tickets they were selling in like 4 months in advance. His last season, they moved the Atlanta game to the freaking football stadium and sold like 38,000 tickets in like 4 days.
Could you imagine what the viewership for the NBA would be if the Lakers and the Celtics actually were in the finals?
It would go up, but I don't think it's as strong as it used to be. Because the rivalries, like when you see dudes like dapping each other up after games and, oh, I love you, man. Oh yeah. Like, and I'm not one of those.
You're basically saying they're all soft now. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not one of those old guys that's like, oh, my generation was better. I will say my generation had better rivalries, which meant like which people wanted to see. You know, like people like, dude, the Seattle Supersonics when they were great, like with Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Sam Perky, all that. Dude, when they played the Rockets or if they played the Spurs or the Jazz, those were games that people would watch on Sundays.
Yeah,
like, that was it. That was like appointment television.
Rivalry games. Yes. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it happened with League of Legends too. A lot of the big rivalries.
Oh, stop!
Can I make a comparison?
League of Legends is laugh out loud.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, a lot of people were complaining about that too in League, where a lot of the big rivalries just weren't there anymore. And like rivalries are like a key aspect of what makes fans watch any sport. Is like my team hates your team.
The sport of League of Legends.
All right, fuck this, man. We're gonna go into
just like the sport of me playing NHL on my PlayStation. Yeah.
So you love using your racket to hit your balls into a goal? Hockey's for losers, you know that,
racket?
Right?
Hockey. Okay, answer me this then, big guy. Why does every other sport they get injured besides football, besides American football, basketball players get injured like it's going out of style? Hockey players play 82 fucking games a year, and they're there every game. Every single game.
So one guy had a broken leg and he was playing one time. That's crazy. That's insane.
They're there. They're dedicated. And that's why, if you look at the NBA All-Star Weekend, which failed horribly this year, and look what the NHL did, where they had the freaking tournament, the world tournament, that did insane numbers for the NHL. Every guy played like it was fucking, they wanted to win this tournament. They actually played.
Well, it's also personality too.
Finals.
I think what you're mentioning is along the lines of that, because like outside of like a few personalities in the NBA, because remember, like you talked earlier, like Michael Jordan was the biggest thing in the NBA.
Well, they
like
didn't want to lose back then. They didn't want to lose when they played the All-Star game.
Yeah,
nobody.
There's no guy like that.
You got like, well, Giannis does play hard in the All-Star game. Anthony Edwards. He doesn't want to lose. But these other guys, like, dude, when you set, like, this year's All-Star game is the first to 200. Like, what? What? The fuck out of here. I don't want to see guys shoot the ball from half court.
Give me Caitlin Clark versus Bronny James. I guarantee you the ratings will be there.
I don't want to see that either.
Would you deny that the ratings would be there? That would be pretty hype to see him get destroyed by a girl.
Okay.
You gotta admit, that would draw viewers. I'm just saying it would. But
are they playing Make It, Take It?
No, they're have Caitlin Clark and Bronny James play Knockout.
Okay.
Haven't played Knockout.
Knockout? Oh, yeah. Of course.
That'd be pretty fun.
Well, no. It would have to be like horse or something.
Yeah.
You couldn't do anything with rebounding.
21?
He would kill her.
I want to see a black man destroy her.
Oh, you don't like her?
No, she's fine. Maybe put Angel Reese against
Angel Reese. Angel Reese. No, dude. She is like a fucking deer on ice. Have you seen? That girl cannot make a layup. They're like,
I agree.
She set the record for rookie rebounds. Yeah, she also got like 19 of her own rebounds a game.
Yeah, she's also under the rim like 90% of the game. Yeah.
Missing shots and grabbing it over. Dude,
can we have Luka Doncic play against her?
She has, please. Dude, she has the footwork of Stevie Wonder's eyes.
Okay, before we go, well, one last thing. You know, she was talking about we deserve the same pay as the players from the NBA. It's like, no, you don't. First of all, you're trash. You suck ass.
It's not even that. Like the one lady was like, we want the same pay. Well, they couldn't get that. So she said, we want the same revenue sharing. Well, here's the thing. The same revenue sharing that you would get, 0% of 0 is still 0. They have not turned a profit, even with Caitlin Clark. The NBA still in their collective bargaining agreement, they subsidize the WNBA. That comes
if you guys
out
don't
of
actually
their
watch
money.
the WNBA, there's other players on other teams that are better than Angel Reese. Yeah, there's this girl on the Dallas Wings that was all
that good.
Angel Reese is only known because she just talks shit. She's like that one shit talker, but her actual gameplay never backs it up. Because I promise you, go watch a few other teams if you are into that. There's better players on other teams, not her.
And hockey is awesome. I don't know what the fuck you're
Hockey literally is for sweaty, smelly, fat nerds, honestly.
Fat?
Love you. So
yeah, you ain't gonna be. Who's the fat guy in hockey?
My dad.
Right.
You think he exists?
No.
Oh fuck.
He left.
Your white rage is showing again. Oh my god.
No, it's not. My white factual talking is happening.
Oh god.
I'm just saying there ain't no out of shape dudes in hockey.
Yeah, that's true. They are very
I'm not saying you have to like the sport.
But it is for losers, as you confirmed.
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, dang it.
In fact, I think hockey is one of my favorite sports, period. I could watch hockey all day long. But things I like are different. My favorite sport, like my favorite sport, is motorcycle racing, is MotoGP.
Let's have some fun here.
And I like soccer.
Hey, I would like to be a black man one of these days for you. Just joking. All right, let's go. Hey, everyone. I am MSK, a.k.a. Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about a brand new Spider-Man and Wolverine ongoing comic book series coming out later this year. So this was actually announced on Marvel Comics' Twitter page, and I saw a cover for one of the covers that's going to be selling for Spider-Man and Wolverine issue number 1. Now, as you guys know, Spider-Man is literally the top dog at Marvel Comics. He literally is the best seller on pretty much anything, honestly. And so was Wolverine. We went over the ICV2 numbers as you were on one of these shows one time. And, you know, literally, if it's not their alternate universe, then it's just the main universe stuff of Spider-Man, Wolverine, and X-Men that sold very well for Marvel Comics. So nothing else sells very well. Now imagine you take Spider-Man and Wolverine and you put them in one book together. Do you know how crazy Marvel's going to go on the variant covers, guys? Marvel Comics is literally so addicted.
Who's the team? Who's the team?
Show you that in just a moment here. So Marvel Comics is so addicted to number ones. I'd imagine if the sales on this fall off a cliff, all new number 1, 10 variants, they're going to go so crazy on the variant covers on this. But I did read Ultimate Wolverine issue number 1 was really, really good. Can't wait to read issue number 2. Spider-Man, I read Jonathan Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man stuff. I read some of Zeb Wells' stuff. God, Jonathan Hickman is really carrying the Spider-Man line currently right now. Can my boy Spider-Man get some lovin'? You know, can I have him in this series, bang out Black Cat, eat her ass out consistently well, make her come, and then have like Wolverine kind of slash someone's throat, blood everywhere?
Why is sex?
Why can't I have some fun with you?
You are the most sexually depraved human being that I know. Go get a hooker or something.
God.
Just go out there. I couldn't even imagine if you actually had sex. What would happen?
Well, wait a minute. I've had sex with 100 women and I blow their backs out constantly.
I don't believe that.
I don't either. That's why I'm a bullshit liar.
Well, wait. I think you need to go to Vegas. You need to go get one of the women of the night, and just, you know, pay her that money, give her your MSK bullshit, and see what happens after that.
So you're basically saying take her home and then play Connect 4 or checkers with her.
Why would you bring a prostitute to your house?
So. Going over this, it's so on. Spider-Man and Wolverine are teaming up in a brand new series.
It's so on. Get the fuck out of here.
God, there better not be panels of these guys talking about their feelings. Guys, if I see a comic book with Wolverine talking about his feelings, I will literally slit my throat. I'm not trying to read that shit. That's the problem with Marvel Comics now. If you read some of them, they feel very too much in the slice of life realm, actually, you know?
Wait a minute. By writer Mark Guggenheim? and artist Carrara Andrews. What?
Why do you do this to me sometimes?
Why?
We're supposed to be professionals, man. You're on the most professional podcast in existence, which is the MSK show. But this video is on my comic book channel, which you guys should subscribe to if you haven't subscribed yet. But nevertheless, so right, Wolverine and Spider-Man have been forced to team up countless times throughout the years, but a brand new series is giving them a reason to work together in their first ever shared ongoing comic book. Coming from a creative team with a lot of both Spidey and X-Men experience, this title promises to test its leads in new ways and may just have something to do with the mysterious past of both characters. Marvel Comics has announced a new team-up book, Spider-Man and Wolverine, an ongoing series by writer Mark Guggenheim and artist Carrie Andrews. I guarantee you that's a fucking troon. That probably is a Looney Troon.
Andrews.
That arrives May 7th, 2025. Guggenheim shared the first details of the series via Polygon, revealing that the duo will be hunting for the Janus Directory, a list of every undercover spy in the Marvel Universe.
The Janus Directory. It's a cool cover. Look at that.
This looks beautiful. That is actually amazing.
That looks great.
I'll for sure be adding this to my pull list. No, we're going to repeat it.
Look at Spider-Man's leg. Look at his foot. Look
at those legs.
Why is that foot like? What is happening over there?
So, given how crazy this is as an idea, not Spider-Man and Wolverine teaming up, because that would make sense. This is literally their two highest selling characters as far as like comic book sales go. I'll definitely read this and review this for you guys with Laps or whoever is going to read it and review it.
I will take on this challenge. That looks like the Wolverine from like Marvel vs. Capcom. That first cover.
Right. Yeah. This cover looks a little good. This one, not really feeling this one.
Meh.
This one's fine. This one's fine. I'll take it. But this cover A, I can tell this would be the cover A. That looks good. That looks awesome. But these legs, Spider-Man out here hitting the gym hard. Never skip leg day.
Foot. Look at the foot. What is happening with that foot?
He didn't forget leg day, man. He never forgot
the legs. I'm talking about the foot.
Oh, yeah. He didn't forget foot day either. He was watching a lot of foot porn. Don't you watch that?
Of course. It had to go back to porn or sex with your wife or something.
Guggenheim also lists a number of influences, citing classic artists for both Spidey and Wolverine from the 80s and 90s.
When do they not say that? When does someone... My inspiration came from the best series they ever had. That's my inspiration. What are you writing about? The Janus thing? Like, shut up.
Guys. As the primary inspiration behind the book's tone, which makes sense alongside Andrews, whose own exaggerated style recalls 90s trends.
Well, show us a page from inside the book.
God,
is that
a page from
Is that the exaggerated 90s trend?
Why must you be like this?
That looks like something I can draw.
No way. None of us here ain't drawing that good. Not even close.
Yeah. What are you talking about? I'm not terrible.
This new story is far
not
from
great, but I'm not terrible.
Really? I'm actually really good at raising up women and doing content. That's my skill.
That's a lie. See, I'm actually telling you the truth, where I said I'm not that great.
Yeah.
But I can draw. My brother is an amazing artist. Fantastic.
Okay.
Like fucking amazing.
This new story is far from the first team up between Spider-Man and Wolverine. Famously, the two heroes often find themselves at odds when put together in the same book, with Peter's strict moral code butting up against Logan's willingness to kill. Miniseries like Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine by Jason Aaron and Adam Kubert have played up this odd couple dynamic, forcing the duo into increasingly absurd situations where they have to rely on each other to survive. But the new Spider-Man and Wolverine title is their first ongoing team-up. They've tried to pair up Wolverine with a lot of people in some books. I mean, most common one is Deadpool and Wolverine, which is that new one that's a sequel to Deadpool Wolverine WW3. That's written by Benjamin Percy, but we'll see how this goes. We'll see what Marvel can do with this. Both creators behind Spider-Man and Wolverine have also worked on Spider-Man and the X-Men before in some capacity. Guggenheim wrote the series X-Men Gold in 2017 and was also part of the rotating cast of writers in Spider-Man's Brain Trust during the Brand New Day era in the mid-2000s. Guys, Brand New Day is not remembered at good at all.
That's the brain trust behind ruining a character. Cool.
God. Yep. If you guys ever, okay, so if some of you are new to Spider-Man, if you ever hear the series of One More Day and Brand New Day, those are not remembered good. Okay, just keep that in mind. Those are always remembered negatively. Just saying. Meanwhile, Andrews worked on Ultimate X-Men issues 23 through 24 with writer Mark Miller, but more famously wrote and illustrated Spider-Man Reign and his 2024 sequel, Spider-Man Reign 2, both of which imagined a shockingly dark future for an older Peter Parker.
So I read the first 2 issues of Reign 2.
Did you like it?
The art was, dude, Spider-Man had the mask, okay, but he had this giant long goatee with the mask still on. And it was out of his face. Like it didn't have like the mask pulled over and it come down. It was like out. So like he must have cut like a U-shaped hole for his giant beard that looked ridiculous.
So you're saying that I could be Spider-Man?
You could be Miles Morales.
I hate you. Guggenheim hints to Polygon.
MSK is Spider-Man.
The spectacular MSK issue number 1. I'm gonna sell a whole ton of variant covers, and I'll be a huge seller.
Yeah, dude. And then 2 months later, they're gonna try to turn you into every other character.
Good Lord. Oh God.
MSK Spider-Man is Thor.
Holy fucking shit. Guggenheim hints to Polygon also suggests the return of some interesting continuity surrounding Spider-Man. What hasn't been revealed about Spider-Man at this point, guys? He said, how many ongoing series? How much shit has been given to Spider-Man over all these many decades? Guggenheim has already confirmed that Logan is in the Janus directory, but readers often forget that Peter Parker also has a connection to the espionage world. Peter's parents, Richard and Mary Parker, who were also spies, first for the CIA and then S.H.I.E.L.D., which eventually led to their deaths. If their history is tied up in the Janus directory, then this series might not just be a fun, wacky team-up between Wolverine and Spider-Man, but a mission that's personal and with major consequences for continuity. So that's like, what, 6 issues? That's what this arc is? It's good. 6 issues. You got anything else beside that?
That's major consequences. And look at how that sentence is written right up there. It says, Richard and Mary Parker, who were spies, first for the first.
I skipped that. I was like, I am not saying that on a video when you guys hear this back. That was just incorrect, terrible typo writing they're doing here. These people are getting paid good money to write this way.
I get like what they were saying. They were first for the first, but like without the separation, it's first for the first. Like that's that awesome screen rant, you know.
Spider-Man and Wolverine issue number 1 is available May 7th, 2025 from Marvel Comics. But I'll ask you, man, you interested in Spider-Man and Wolverine issue number 1 coming up very soon?
I mean, I'll check it out. I definitely will. I'll buy the first probably 2. If it's decent, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, whenever you get those type of characters, like it could always be really good. It could always be really cool.
You'll usually always buy issue 1. Usually,
yes.
Just
I usually buy. Yeah. I usually buy at least the first 2 or 3 issues. Yeah. Sometimes you can't gauge a story by the first issue. You know, like so. I just think. I don't understand why they keep pushing, you know, I mean, I understand for the money, but when Spider-Man hasn't worked, you know, like Zeb Wells kind of just did a number on him. Hickman's doing very well in the Ultimate Universe, but it just seems like when you have so many, it's just like Batman, when there's so many Bat books going on, and
like you're like, how does one stand out from the other one? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
right. Like, why do I don't want to buy like 6 Spider-Man books a month?
But that's the other thing I'll just add to your point is like, okay, guys, you know from what I just mentioned in the first part of this video, where Spider-Man and Wolverine, guys, are their highest selling characters.
They're gonna sell. They're gonna sell.
If this book ever falls off an ICV2 chart past 10, that writer needs to be replaced. If this can't sell in a consistent series form up to like 50 issues, what are we doing here? Like,
well, I doubt it's gonna be 50 issues.
No, but like if it can't,
but I know what you're saying. Like, yes, I know what you're saying. If it can't get the stay power of like 3 massive arcs, then yes,
we're in some deep shit here at Marvel. If Spider-Man and Wolverine in the same fucking ongoing series can't get you past 20 issues,
and if they like
wrap it up.
I find it funny. Like it's like they go up against the whatever, the Janus whatever, right? It's like, why do they always do that whenever they get 2 massive heroes? They always got to make some dumbass thing that they go up against. It's like, why can't you make a cool story where, like, it would be cool for Spider-Man and Wolverine to be in something that they don't deal with on a day-to-day basis? Like, what if they went in space? That was
Spider-Man went Super Saiyan. He could be called the Superman. Just kidding. That was a bad joke.
Be called Man. He's the Man Spider. Yeah, that's like his dark identity, and it turns out it's Miles Morales. They pull off,
dude. You could literally have Spider-Man and Wolverine do a fusion dance. They could be a Wolverine man.
It could be Spiderine. It's like
God.
They should do like the Parent Trap, like or trading places. They could do that.
That would be a good idea. Like Freaky Friday, you could have Spider-Man. Yeah, it's like not saying that's a pretty good idea there, but they're not gonna do that because it's Marvel Comics.
And then Wolverine's in the Spider-Man, and he's like, "Hey, Aunt May, that's some hot tats you got there, sweetheart.
That's some nice eggs you scramble for me. I like to scramble your pussy.
In Art 6, look at those ankles.
Oh, God. Just
some good-looking shit.
All jokes aside, this is Marvel Comics, guys, in 2025. You know how they're billed as the house of ideas? They got no ideas. There ain't no ideas anymore here. This is called circling the drain.
Well, I mean, Lunchbox Warren said it the best, dude. When you got like this many years of stories, it's hard. Well, not even continuity, just stories in general. Like it might be easier. Maybe that's why the Absolute Universe and the Ultimate Universe are doing better, because they're not
bogged down.
Like I said, they're not held to these standards of it's got to be written within these confines. So I don't know, man. Like it's I'll say this. It's becoming harder and harder to remain a comic book fan with the new things that are out. We have Nightwing's Asshole, the book, Harley Quinn's farts, and fucking Freaky Friday Spider-Man.
And you know what Marvel's still doing? On Immortal Thor, they're like, this is our big thing, guys. They're going to kill off Thor again.
Oh, no way. They're going to kill him off for real? He's never coming back?
You never know, man.
Oh, dude.
He's going to die. And guess what, guys? I know the playbook. He's going to die. And he's going to get reborn in a new ongoing Thor series in a new number 1.
No.
I gave the game away.
Dude,
easy.
You're blowing my Spiderine mind.
So
Wolverman.
So that's my final thoughts on this are, I'll buy issue 1. I'll keep up with the book as long as it's good. As long as you give me a good story, it's fine. But I can easily see this. I'm saying They have a way for this to work, but you could easily see this falling off a cliff after the first arc.
Okay, so a point that we had talked about on the show when it was all 5 of us.
Yeah.
This is the reason why people buy back issues. This type of stuff, you know, Nightwing's butthole, the farts whole books, like that's the reason why they're
so
like,
you wouldn't want to buy back issues. That you burn those to the ground.
You know, like I'm just gonna go buy the stuff that I know is good, as opposed to taking a chance on whether or not they want to see Nightwing walk down a catwalk, modeling off, you know, thongs and butt shots. Like, is that something that you want to read?
I mean, you know, if he's spreading it very good,
woo,
what it tastes like, you know? So
definitely not peanut butter.
So, gosh. Yeah, guys. I hope the Spider-Man and Wolverine issue #1 for a new ongoing series Marvel Comics is going to do is good. So, thank you guys for checking out this butthole. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
That's what I mean, dude. You could end it any way you want to.
God. So, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have not already, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're going to sign out, guys. See you guys later. Peace. Before we get to the last topic, I need to get a drink. Just one.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm going to grab a drink myself.
Oh, God, talking about all this bullshit makes me thirsty.
Check out those legs. Watch when he comes. Watch when he comes out from the manufacturer's door.
Good Lord.
Who wears short shorts?
I wear them in your butt. Gosh, I need a Gatorade. I was getting dehydrated. I was like, okay, all right. I need to juice up for this next topic, guys, because this one might make me actually want to go slit my damn throat. But don't worry. I use this bottle of Gatorade for very much powerful electrolytes that'll inject me with so much power. I will have so much power. Oh, I love that shit, actually. To the point where I'm going to be literally a Super Saiyan. He got Minute Maid. I got Gatorade. Cool, though?
My wife, since I work down here, she went out. You know, like how in offices they have those like water machines.
Oh yeah,
little cup. She bought me one. I literally have like put the cup down and yeah, dude, it's pretty awesome.
I should probably get one of those. That's not a bad idea. Is it one where like they have like downstairs.
You get like a polar water jug and it goes into the back of it.
You hook it up into a wall with the whole machine and everything, or you can just do it without that.
No, yeah, you plug it in because it's got like a cooling and a heating element in it.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
And then like you just buy the jugs from the store.
Could you imagine?
But you know what's awesome though?
Yeah,
I'm dead serious. Like the big jugs, you can go to Walmart and fill that thing for like $2.
Could you imagine calling the manufacturer and being like, "Why isn't my water dispenser working?" He just says, "Is it plugged in?"
That's very true. I could see a lot of people doing that.
Oh God!
Oh, dude, listen. You want to hear? This is 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started at the new company, right? This is so funny. We were on a Teams call. They use Microsoft Office, right? So you're on Teams. We had like 20 people on there. Everybody was doing new orientation and stuff.
Yeah.
So my boss was like, "Hey, I just need you in there. I know you don't really need to be orientated, but just be there." And I was like, "Okay." So they had the head IT guy on, right? And he was taking questions because like when you work from home and they send you packages, getting it set up, some people aren't as proficient, let's just say. So this woman's on there, right? And she's like, "Yeah, do you have any questions?" And she's like, "Yes. I did not receive my computer," right? And the guy goes, "Well, it says here that the computer was sent." She's like, no, I don't have the computer. And he's like, these are boxed computers, and
Yeah.
it was, scanned into the box. He's like, did you open up everything that came in the box? And she goes, well, I did not open one box. And he goes, do you think it's the computer? She goes, let me check. And then you hear, she comes back and she's talking just like this. She's like, it seems that when I opened the new box, there was a computer in it. Dude, I lost it. I freaking lost it. And I was unmuted. I didn't know. I was dying. And someone goes, so someone, the person who was holding the meeting, muted me and sent me a private message and said, you were unmuted. And they put LOL.
That's
The way she talked. She was like, when I take this out, do I put the plug into the computer, or does it turn on by itself? I'm dead serious.
YouTube. Okay. The things I want to say in this episode, I can't because I'm gonna get banned again. Or I'm gonna get canceled again. I can't. It's okay. There was a guy that called a McDonald's and asked them, do they sell meat?
Dude, I used to go into freaking, before like this was popular. Someone told me it was on a show. I used to go like into like Kentucky Fried Chicken or something, and I would look around real hard and I would point and say, can I get the super meal or like something? And they're like, what? And I'd be like, yeah, can I get that? Does that come with fries? And they're just looking at me like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Or you go into place and ask for pizza that doesn't sell pizza. That's always good. That's fun. Dude, they already have the shittiest job in the world. You got to make it worse for them.
There was one time where I was working, some dude called the building to let us know we had a long line. Because at work, people don't know this. I'm very stern. I don't really laugh at anything. I'm that's a professional.
At work?
That almost blew, dude, I almost lost it when someone called the building to let us know we had a long line. I actually almost lost it. I actually almost just straight up died on the floor. Who called the building to let them know they have a lot of people? Oh,
what do you do?
So work in the service industry. Let's just say that.
Oh, okay. Wait, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's just I almost lost it so hard when someone called the building to let us know we had a long line. I'm like,
are you ashamed of your job?
Not necessarily. I just hate it so much. I don't want to like giving it airtime, honestly.
But it pays all the bills. Job?
I'm working on that currently. I am.
I could hire you.
Good Lord, please. I hate this place.
But you live in California, so the money out there, let's just say, do you make $20 or above?
I do.
Okay. You could do this job. I think.
No, it's just, God, man. It's not about getting a new job is fine. I don't care if I do. I would love to. It's just, it pays all the bills. So, I mean, I can't really complain, but it's like, when
your cost of living is so high in California.
When people do certain things that they do, it's like, it's mostly a whole janitor thing. Like, you have people that will instead of like picking up something, they'll have you do it. And it's like, I couldn't imagine what your house looks like if you don't even want to pick up like a little piece of grease off the floor, which just takes like a napkin and it can just get it off and it's completely fine. It's like, oh my God. Like,
dude, my cost of living is like 1/8 of yours.
I don't even live that expensive, honestly.
No, just everything. Like what?
Yeah.
Okay. Without being
you're in Detroit,
I'm in,
right?
No, hell no. I'm in the mountains of West Virginia.
Oh, you're in Virginia.
No, West Virginia.
West Virginia. Is that what they
I live about like 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh.
So you're like not in the city, right?
No, I live if you go out my front door, I have neighbors, but like if you pan out, it's like a gated neighborhood on top on top of like a mountain.
You essentially live in like the Beverly Hills, if you look like.
No. Right? It's not like that. It's a very nice neighborhood.
No black people, which is good.
No, yeah, we have black people here.
Damn it. You're not giving me into the stereotypes, man.
No, but like our black people are different. Our black people are like into hunting and fishing and, they like
our blacks are different here. I like hearing that. That's good. That's good.
Well, compared to I've lived in the city and I've lived in like crappier, I've lived in, I don't want to say ghetto, but I have, and it's just a different type of person. Same, different white people. The white people are different. Everybody here is super nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't like nothing will happen to you. I could leave my door unlocked.
The only thing that's we don't have as highest. Okay, so Tennessee has the highest sales tax. That's the only thing we don't have is the highest. We have the highest everything at this point now.
Yeah,
literally, San Diego beat the city of Manhattan for the highest cost of living. That's crazy.
Without revealing, how much do you pay for rent?
In the close to the $1,000 range. Just to say that.
So if you were where I'm at, right, you could buy a 4-bedroom house for probably $70,000, and it's actually nice. Like,
how much would the mortgage be? Like, the mortgage would be like what, $1,200 a month?
Nothing. Hell no. For $70,000. No, dude. Mortgages on dude, I paid my house off. My house is $480,000. Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I paid that off. It's done. It's done. And my mortgage was $700 a month. Yeah.
Mortgage is $700 a month.
No, it was.
That's crazy. Oh, forgot. You own it. So
I only pay. We only pay property. No, we pay property tax, which is like I think.
Do you think that's a scam? Property tax?
Yes, because I'm supposed to be owning the property. So.
Yeah, that's why taxes. But you own the property, yet you get taxed on it.
Here's the thing, though. Like my yard, the side of my yard is probably half the size of a football field, and then my backyard is probably a good 70 yards. Like it's huge, dude.
Oh, it takes me. Do you have any animals? You have any dogs or cats?
Me, no.
Oh, okay.
No. The only like my mom lives with us, so like after my dad died, like she's like allergic to fucking everything. So we just whenever her time is, my son wants a dog. So like whenever we can, we will get a dog. I don't want one.
I don't like pets, really.
It's not that. It's just I had a dog for 17 years, and his name was Bullet, and he died on my lap.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. No, probably fine.
Eric the Guapo, when did I get the mortgage? In 2002.
God.
I'm 46 years old, Eric.
You're too old.
Yeah, I got it in 2002. And I live in West Virginia where everything, dude, like gas here is only like $2.12.
God, East Coast, crazy, man. Oh, goodness gracious.
It's like small town, like,
What's the closest state you're next to?
The closest
like Pennsylvania?
state?
Right? You said Pennsylvania. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever like vacation there? Do you like it going to Pennsylvania? Okay.
I lived in Pittsburgh for a long ass time.
You in Chicago? Oh yeah, I forgot you used to live in Chicago.
No, I didn't live in Chicago. I went through Chicago. Like when I left my house when I was like 15, for about 2 years there, I traveled all around the United States, hopping trains, getting money for bus tickets, panhandling, all sorts of weird stuff, man.
God, never going back to that life again. I imagine. You're in SoCal too? Oh, goodness gracious. You know how it is out here, man. My house in SoCal is $350K, $2,400 a month. Fucking hell. God. Yeah, he's got the mohawk thing. Yeah. Fucking hell.
I have all my hair.
You have to start looking like a Severus Snape from Harry Potter.
I was born 2/15/79.
Do you guys have that out there where brothers and sisters start fucking?
That's way southern West Virginia.
So you're saying it does happen?
Oh, 100%, dude. There's some inbred motherfuckers down in hills
for many years.
No, honestly. That's West Virginia. The northern West Virginia is not hillbilly land.
That'll be like Alabama.
There is mountains like the Allegheny Mountains are phenomenal in my opinion. They're a fantastic place to live. You're literally, like I said, 30 to 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh. You can go if you want to go to a city. I mean, that's where I go to get my comic books. So, I mean, like, it's a nice trip once a week and you can go do stuff.
Yeah. The insurance, yeah. Just imagine the cost of living. That's why I understand why people don't have insurance out here. First of all, insurance is a scam anyway. I don't know why people even fucking have it, but I
I'll
understand why
tell
they
you.
have
Do you
to.
know?
Because,
Do you know when I
reasons.
stopped house insurance? My garage door broke, my water heater broke, and they covered nothing. And I was like, you know what? Unless like I literally have a fire or something happens, you're not going to help me with anything. So fuck off.
That's true from based off the California fires. Everyone was giving these people money for many years, and then they just basically said, "No, you don't get in this." So that means you just scammed people. People don't know that that's a scam, right? You pay someone for a service, and then when you need said service and they'll give it to you, you got scammed.
Yeah. So
Like quite the definition of a scam. It's like, Sparkles,
yeah.
hey,
Miss Sparkles,
I love
how are you
California.
doing?
I've managed to live out here my entire
you
life.
know what the funniest thing is though? That's where I was born. Was California. I was born in Anaheim.
Oh, you know how bad it is, yeah. Anaheim, yeah. So
I don't know. We moved from California when I was 2 years old, so I don't even remember it.
I've managed to live on my own since 2017. It's not easy, but I've managed to do it. It's just you
have to be dedicated to work. You know what I mean? Like that's
My house is worth $450K right now. I'm getting out of
dude.
Cali
Hey, Eric the Guapo, Erlanger, Kentucky is beautiful, man. Beautiful. You're like, it's almost like how where I am in West Virginia to Pittsburgh, you're like 40 minutes away from Cincinnati, and it's like beautiful country out there. You could get stuff that's not super duper expensive, and it's nice, man. Erlanger is a beautiful place to live. Erlanger, Kentucky.
Let's get into this next banger. I know you wanted to go over this because I know this is something right up your alley. I know a lot of you guys like this one too. That's why I picked it out for our second topic. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about comic books being more accessible, but where are the new fans? Because we had Marvel and DC Comics basically kind of, pivot people away from like comic books that they really, really enjoyed. Wait a minute. Holy fuck. Wait a minute. Oh my God. Sorry, I got a message from my boss. My whole train of thought just died. Sorry. I got a message for work tomorrow. It's fine. Everything's okay. So, hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about comic books being more accessible, but still there are no more newer fans coming into the medium. So there was this article on Screen Rant that started making the rounds on the internet, and the headline basically went like this. And then we're going to be getting into that here in just a moment, and I will show you guys that right now. So comics are more accessible than ever. So where are all the new fans? That's the thing, is there isn't really new fans. I think that's a myth for a lot of these companies, right? So not just comics. Let's just try it out in a different way. So you average people that are going to watch this video on the Master Swag King and Comics and Manga channel will understand this, okay? So certain things have a peak to it. Okay, so like when you have Harry Potter or things like Star Wars, those things have bigger peaks because the IPs are much more lucrative. There's a lot of people that obviously enjoy them. But there are certain things that we consume that have these peaks there. And then you have these base level of audiences that exist in said thing, right? So what I mean by that is there isn't more newer people, okay? The amount of people that are already invested are already there, okay? Yes, you can get newer people doing certain things, but it's never going to be in mass compared to where it used to be. That's just how it's going to work, right? Now, I will say this for DC Comics, they've basically put like some of their comics in Dollar Tree, which is very, very good, right? They have the Compact Comics line, which is great. They have the DC's Finest books. Those are very, very good in a lot of different ways. All of them basically act, those two right there, the Compact Comics and the Finest books act like jumping in points. So if you are new to Batman and you haven't actually, been reading Batman for a long time, you could basically jump in on a DC Compact Comic Batman book and start reading Batman there. Or if you're a fan of the more longer stuff right there, you can get the DC's Finest books, which is their newest form of collected editions, right? And then you have, like, if you live in an area where you're kind of like on a budget and your Dollar Tree happens to be in your city or town, you can go there and potentially pick up some of the $1.25 comic books that exist. Now, the reason why this applies to more accessibility is because if comic books aren't exactly more accessible to a lot of people, you can't actually reach more fans, right? Because they're not in, big box retailers like they used to be. People tell me stories of like they used to be in 7-Elevens and gas stations and all that stuff. Well, that's where average people go. Average people go to liquor stores, gas stations, and supermarkets, right? So if they're not in the average places, every average Joe Schmo goes to be, they're not going to see them. Like if you literally have to put them in front of people for them to know they exist. DC Comics back in like 2016, 2017 tried doing this with the whole 100-page giants where they had them at Walmart's. I have the books over there. So really good idea. But they stopped it because, that's what DC does. Reasons. It just, reasons why they stopped doing it, right?
That Joker looks stupid as hell.
That's from James Tynian's book. I remember that. Looks really
dumb.
It would look way better if his other eye was open, but I see your point. So
it's stitched shut.
And that's the thing is like, where are all the new fans? Well, I'm not saying, okay, how would I say this? Long story short, DC and Marvel kind of chased off a lot of people with a lot of stupid things they did. Variant schemes, messing up with continuity. Well, DC had a ton of reboots. Marvel never rebooted, but that means without rebooting, you're basically sticking with some of these bad stories for years and years and years. The editors of Marvel coming out, Tom Brevoort, that fat fuck, saying, oh, you can't have Peter Parker and Mary Jane together. Like, you can't have that. It's like, well, fuck you, you fat piece of shit.
And pirating kills comics also. It does.
Pirating does it a lot. I mean,
you look at some of the major pirate sites, dude, when you see a comic was downloaded like 600,000 times.
People will sure download them. They'll sure download them. They sure won't ever go buy them, but they'll download them. It's like,
it's kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I like having physical media.
Constant relaunches. Just this year in 2025, when I'm dropping this video on my comic book channel, where you guys are watching this right now, do you know that they're relaunching Spider-Man and Batman again? Batman's getting relaunched around September. Spider-Man's getting relaunched closer to summer. Yeah. They're still doing that. In 2025, we don't have but outside of Action Comics and Detective Comics, Marvel at this point, Spider-Man, their biggest character, can't hit 1,000 issues. Oh, it's legacy numbering. Fuck off, man. They can't hit it because they are addicted to relaunching because they're just trying to keep driving comic book retailers to keep spending money on their shit. And they have done things to get new people in. You have the Marvel Premiere Editions. You have like the Epic Collections. You have that stuff, right? Yeah. It's only going to go so far. What you need to do is you basically kind of need to put the books in places that people are going to buy them more consistently. That's what you need to do. DC already had an idea of it with Dollar Tree. Marvel needs to do something very similar to that. Also the digital strategy. They have the apps so you can read digitally, right? But keep in mind, those apps cost like $10 a piece. The Shonen Jump one cost $1.99. See the price difference there? You see the actual price difference there? How many people right now, given budgetary concerns with how the economy works, are going to be able to justify spending an extra $10 on DC and Marvel comics digitally? But you can justify if it's $1. You can, because $1.99 is nothing in 12 months. That's like what, $13 with tax? It's nothing, even if it was a subscription thing. So many more reasons. There's a comment that we have here that I can highlight for the video, which is very, very important. I think the biggest issue is catering to the collector's market instead of readers. Constant relaunches are directly tied to that crowd. Yes, it's true. The variant cover schemes are bullshit most of the time. We know there's schemes. I talked to owners. They know it. They can't really just say it directly to me, but It's highly implied. It's bullshit most of the time too, you know? And we know there's no new fans. They don't do sales numbers anymore. We don't know the numbers. They're gone because reasons. All right. Regardless of whether we're talking about Marvel, DC Comics, or independent comic books, comics continue to be one of the least respected mediums out there. Don't get me wrong.
I don't respect you. Comic books.
God, I respect art and writing and quality storytelling. I'm the biggest Tom King supporter out there. I'm joking, guys. Good Lord. Don't get me wrong. Even most outsiders recognize the craft and hard work that it takes to produce a comic book, but the respect factor comes into how it's viewed alongside other mediums. Well, it's disrespected a lot too by the very people that make the books too. Just look at the way that Ed Brubaker was treated for Winter Soldier. $1,000 paycheck and just an invite to the premiere. That movie ended up making like $800 million. Almost close, right? We count inflation back then. And he's treated like shit. Look at the way Kevin Feige just treated Rob Liefeld at that Deadpool Wolverine premiere last year. Even the people that make the books treat the people that make the books like shit. Good Lord. The demand for comics hasn't been strong because, frankly, comic books haven't been seen as cool. Manga is. Scholastic's books are. Manga is just literally Japanese comics, guys. They're seen as cool. Yeah. They buy them. People buy them a lot. Like a lot. So it has nothing to do with the actual medium. Literally, it's because there's such bad word of mouth around the medium. That's why books haven't been selling to the point where you can get new readers. The only readership you have is people that are already here, kind of like us. We're kind of stuck with it for life. We love doing it. We're kind of just here. But other people that aren't as invested just go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gone. You know? That's how it works. Now,
I mean,
you go ahead.
Like there's a lot. There's, in my opinion, there's a lot of different reasonings. Like you have 100 years of history with one, you know, and you got like 70 years of history with another. And I think a lot of people, it's different with manga. Like, yeah, One Piece has been going on forever, but there's other things that start up and they know, okay, I can get into this at a number one thing and it's going to go all the way through.
More serialized storytelling. Yeah, consistency.
Yes. As opposed to, well, I could buy the new Batman, right? I could buy it. And let's say, yes, I can get into it. But as soon as you do, right, you're going to want to get all this other stuff. It's a massive undertaking. There's no way that someone's just going to get into a book now, right, and not want to know what else is out there.
That's how it works. It's like a gateway thing.
It's hard. It's right. And I just look at it as it's not cool anymore. People don't think it's cool. Like, and
that's just a different form of comic books are more lucrative and more attractive and cooler to the new generation. Like manga is just more attractive to them because
it's easier to get into
all the things you just said about manga.
To get into though. I don't have to read. Too. I don't have. If I want to get into, say, some guy made a hit shit, right? It's like,
we'll just say Naruto. A lot of kids like Naruto.
Okay, it's completed and I can get into it and I know that there's 220 issues or whatever.
Yeah.
And I can get it and it's done. Boom. That's it. And then I can watch the anime and I can, you know, and that's another thing too.
If you wanted,
and anime too, sticking so close to what you read makes a difference, man. It makes a difference.
People synergy is a big problem. That. Yeah.
You know, and then you look at like Code Geass, that was a real popular one, R1 and R2. They were talking about making R3.
Lelouch.
And why did they not do it? It's because the manga stopped. And they were like, well, can't do that. We're not gonna make up an ending because we did that. We did that with Bleach. So we're not gonna do it.
Yep.
Just cut it. So like and you know, the way you look at it is like comic books, the last massive popularity was in the beginning of the 90s, like when it was massive, like millions of issues. And then the comic book market crashed and, you know, all those things happened. You know, Image happened and they were selling, you know, a lot of the pre-orders, million books. But also the advancement of video games was happening. It came from regular, you know, Nintendo to Super Nintendo to now you can play as those characters and have your own adventure, and you can do those things better than you can sit down and read. Also, kids nowadays, manga is great for them because they can get Shonen Jump and read those 16 pages once a week, as opposed to making a commitment once a month. They're like, this is 30 pages. Fuck that.
So it's like what, $4.99 for 24 pages, or if you had, because you give your son an allowance, you give him $10 and he can get a volume for 150 pages. It's like
that, or they can actually get Shonen Jump where all those manga are in.
Yeah, but it's more bang for your buck. Like he gets $10,
right?
He gets a full, like book. Yeah. I'm saying too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like there are things, there's things that are like that, and it's like, I don't know. I look at it and it's like, do you want all of that storage space also? Obviously, look behind me. Those are just some of the omnibuses. I just wanted it to look cool for when I made videos. You know what I mean? But just think of like my wife. God, thank God I have her, because I see some of my friends, like some of the guys that I know, and they're like, my wife's making me move to the basement, I gotta move my stuff to there. My wife's like, dude, you put it wherever the fuck you want it. You paid for all this shit.
I just want to point out another thing that they could do is basically move away from floppies. They're never going to do it. It's just a hypothetical in my head that it's a dream. Just literally, if you're going to do a ongoing series, instead of just releasing a book a month, release them every 2 months and just add in 2 issues. So you get 48 pages rather than 24 pages broken up. I think moving to a different model of a format is good. I know you mentioned the argument of like video games rising up. But this is the thing too, is video games are popular now. Obviously, they've been popular for a long time, right? People still find the time to read other things, right?
No. I'm talking about kids, man.
Kids like
kids nowadays. Man, when's the last time you seen like a kid in the wild reading?
Don't they read on tablets? They read on their tablets, right?
Once again, when have you ever seen a kid?
Not black kids. They don't read. We know that.
I'm not saying that like my children don't read. Like every night.
They're not black. They're white.
I told you, every night, me and my son, we read a chapter in the Sonic the Hedgehog series. We read Sonic in the Justice League last week.
You like it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's awesome. Mm-hmm.
I like it because I'm experiencing it through his eyes.
God, you're gonna make me cry. No, but
why would I make you cry?
What I'm bringing up to a lot of you guys,
you have all that sex.
Oh yeah,
don't you have like 35 kids somewhere?
So the thing
that you left for cigarettes one day.
I don't think simultaneously that if video games and other things are popular, then that means that comic books can't. Because
no, I didn't say they can't.
No.
I didn't say that.
I'm tackling onto your point.
I'm saying that there's so many other things that the thing that was cool is not cool. So why are they going to leave those like 4 or 5 things that they have are cool that they all talk about?
Oh no, for sure. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is comic books, I guess from Marvel and DC, they went basically, since these other things are way more popular, then we're just kind of just going to relegate comic books to being unpopular or doing all our bullshit shenanigans. And it's like, multiple popular things run circulating all the time. It's not like this one just has to take a back seat because you think it can't capitalize on anything anymore. And the only people that are stopping them is them, for being honest here. It's them the ones stopping it. Now, recently, I'll give DC their props. They have been doing a lot of good stuff recently, but, they were cool in contempt with a lot of the bullshit happening many years ago, too. Marvel Comics, they're just fried. Nothing's helping them. They're owned by Disney. So, they're going to have to literally just die a death or something. When it comes to novels or movies, comics get, as comedian Rodney Dangerfield once said, no respect.
They get no respect.
What I mean by that is, unlike
you have no
other
idea what
mediums,
that means, do you?
I'm a black guy. I only know what crime is because that's what our people do. Comic books aren't experiencing a surge in popularity. This is strange to me, especially since comic book movies continue to dominate. And this is what people keep forgetting. Comic book movies, whether it be animated or live action or television shows, like we mentioned, both animated and live action, doesn't matter. But there's a reason why they chose to pivot away from books and make that, because you could easily make 10,000 Superman fans with a movie, whether it be animated or live action, than making more Superman comic books. It's just, that's how it works for a lot of people. They'd rather watch the content than read it.
Goes to my point, right?
Yeah,
people just don't want to read. Like, I'm not saying that the people
No,
here,
you're right. I don't disagree.
right here, don't want to read. Obviously,
I'm just saying black people don't read because that's proven. Yeah, and he agrees with me. You know, he agrees with all my opinions.
Yes.
And then people like, I knew this was gonna come up. The Marvels guys, the MCU literally couldn't sell their comic books in the same way that the movies could. Literally, the biggest movie franchise to ever exist, probably in a lot of people's lifetimes, couldn't make comics or get them a nice boom. If that can't do it, then it can't happen. There is no synergy between movies and books.
Can you do something for me real quick? Can you read that second panel, please?
After this, we'll go to the
read it out loud now.
God, love me. Do you want to make love to me?
I love you, Spider-Man. I don't want to go. I know, LaFrance. I know. What? What?
Yep. And then they wonder why people don't want to read that horse shit. Yeah, good quality dialogue we're getting there. Thank you, Tom Brevoort. You fat
I love
fuck.
you, Spider-Man.
God, the Marvel Cinematic Universe just surpassed $30 billion at the box office last year. While fans remain deeply invested in James Gunn's plans for the DCU, yet comics aren't reaping the benefits of the success. They never will. They never have. They never will. There's been no synergy between them to ever exist. The only thing
I don't know why they hold them standard to they've never met. Like
there's only one time I can think of, and that's the Ultimate Spider-Man game that came out. That's the only one I can think of. That was a video game that Brian Michael Bendis did have tie into his work. That's the only one I can think of that had synergy. But did that make people go and read more Ultimate Spider-Man comic books?
No.
I don't think it did. It had synergy, but I don't think it made people go and read Ultimate Spider-Man at the time. People were already reading Ultimate Spider-Man because things like Spider-Man. That's because they like Spider-Man a lot.
Because it was good at the time.
Yeah. Like, there's this notion that we have to keep doing. Why the MCU and the DCU are successful? Why are the books not selling? Well, I would imagine. I'll give you an example, guys. How many people do you think is a discrepancy between the people that went and watch the Hunger Game movies versus reading the books? There's way more people that watch the movies and read the books, despite the books being high sellers, right? In fact, Marvel saw a significant dip in sales after quarter 4 of 2024. What's going on? That's because that's the ultimate stuff that we talked about a while ago in a certain video. Spider-Man has been the only consistent draw, along with X-Men and Wolverine, for a lot of the Marvel Comics current ongoing series, especially the Ultimate Universe. Good Lord. When I was a kid, there was a local comic book shop just a few blocks away from the elementary school I attended. Well, at least I think it was a few blocks. Being a little kid with no sense of direction, it's hard to say. It's not like I needed to know the exact coordinates at age 6 or 7. Anyway, geography aside, my dad would take me to that shop every Friday after school. I was always hunting for the latest Spider-Man comic since that was my favorite. But of course, this is Spider-Man we're talking about. Yeah, that happened for me when I was younger too. My mom had a newspaper subscription and we got Spider-Man comics and we just look forward to getting them every Friday. But the thing is, the reason why this hasn't been a thing for a lot of people or kids with, people with families is because comic book shops have been closing down because they can't sell whatever the fuck Marvel and DC are trying to get them to sell. Back then, Spider-Man was everyone's favorite, so his newest issues were always sold out. He was Marvel's biggest and most iconic superhero, so it was no surprise. I bring this up to highlight how things were in the early 2000s. That was Ultimate Spider-Man. That was because they made such bad financial decisions, they almost went bankrupt. Ultimate Spider-Man is one of the highest selling comic books ever. It is. I'll give them credit. They did it with the Ultimate Universe. They wanted to reimagine their heroes, but that wasn't because they wanted to do that initially. They only did that because they almost went fucking bankrupt. That's the only reason why they did it. But it worked, so you can't really blame them for that.
I see Grok made the when Batman 89 came out, comics boomed. There was also a correlation with the direct market getting explicitly behind that. That was and I agree. I agree with him. But there was also there was like 3 things, that were happening right in that time frame.
You're like right place, the right time.
Coming, They were coming. Well, they were coming out of the distributor failures of 1987 through 88. Like that was one of the worst, hikes of like people distributing books. I mean, you can go look into it if you want to, But I agree with him
Mhm.
that in that movie also really embraced comic books.
It
Like,
does.
because you
Yeah.
look at it and it was very comic book. Look like, it looked like a comic book. It felt like
That
a
goes to
comic
show you
book.
how sad that is. We could only cite 2 examples. That's terrible.
But he's
That's
right
really
though.
bad.
He's 100% correct. And that led into a lot of like, you look at it like freaking like Rob Liefeld was on like talk shows. He was like on Jay Leno.
They even Stan Lee
stuff.
went on CNN with Larry King a few times, but that didn't
There
really
was
beat
like,
Marvel
but I'm
Comics
just saying,
though.
like, when
Yeah.
does a comic book artist get on the Tonight Show?
Oh no, no, and you wouldn't want that either. They're weird. Those people
No,
literally
they did.
don't go
They
outside.
did though. Liefeld
Some of
was
them
on a bunch
that had,
of
yeah.
was on
Well,
a
he has
bunch
a
of shows.
personality. He can talk. Do you want like
Right.
Gail Simone going on late night show and talking to you?
Dude, they wouldn't take someone who sucks and put him on there. They would, but I agree with him in that.
There's also the thing with James Gunn where when he announced his DCU Phase 1, he made a lot of books
James
sell
Gunn
out.
looks like a woodchuck who's gonna eat you alive.
But this is the thing that people forget when James Gunn had those books sell out. That wasn't comic book shops that sold out. That was Amazon selling out of the trades that happened when he mentioned those books. Now, it's proven.
But he also made a new team and it was like cool and hip,
Yeah.
and it led to I mean, like, think of this. Like, that's the only time like I heard people talking about like the soundtracks, like, and then they were talking about, remember whenever Captain Marvel came out and they were supposed to take place in the 90s, and they were like, "Ooh, I wonder what 90s soundtrack it's gonna be. I wonder what this."
Yeah.
If you incorporate things that are popular with them, it doesn't have to be something that I understand, but if it can work. I don't know, man. I don't have the answers for this shit because I'll be honest, me personally, I am one of the most out of touch people with reality, like, well, with what's going on in the outside world and what's popular.
Yeah, it's proven. You talk to me.
Well, yes. But like I am so out of it when it comes, like when I go outside, it's like a new adventure for me every time I go outside.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit.
Holy shit.
Look at that weirdo over there. What the hell are they wearing?
So even when James Gunn pointed where people to buy the books, guys, they just bought them from Amazon. They didn't even go and buy them from shops. But nevertheless,
but it's
fast forward to 2025.
Like, that's the thing, though. That's kind of the point. We can't say it doesn't work and then say, oh, when it did work, it was because of this. Well, that's a reason why it worked.
Yeah, it's showing that people can. What I would say to that is, like, if you point them into the right direction, given that a personality like him, you can do it, But how often are they going to keep doing that? We'll see. Fast forward to 2025, and every comic is available with just one click. For $9.99 a month, I can get a Marvel Unlimited subscription and instantly have every Spider-Man comic ever produced at my fingertips. The same goes for DC Comics. DC Universe Infinite offers thousands of comics for $7.99 a month.
Yeah, but then it's like you don't own it.
Yeah, but I understand. You take out the middleman. You don't have to
get
print
it. Like, listen, I get it, but
that's just pure business stuff.
Here's the thing, though. I'm very firm in physical media because, dude, what happens whenever shit goes under? All those movies that you bought from Amazon aren't going to be there.
All your digital stuff. Yeah, you're right.
All that stuff like is gone, and I still buy DVDs and Blu-rays. I still do all the time. I still use my VHS.
You're old. I'm done. You're old.
Dude, you want to hear how old I am? Me and my wife watched a Betamax 8 2 weeks ago of Labyrinth.
I also just want to point out, Dark Horse Comics just a few weeks ago canceled their online digital comic book thing they were doing because I don't think anyone was ever really utilizing it or reading Dark Horse comic books, but we'll find out more about that later.
Hold on. Grok says the comics need to be in places that are accessible. Yeah, we talked about that.
We talked about that. Yeah.
You're 100% correct. And I'm hopefully that dollar store initiative or whatever it is, Dollar General, whatever, and they just need to be anywhere. Like, how hard is it to put a rack with some books on it? It's gonna sell, dude.
My wife has a big rack. Jokes aside,
I'm muting. We're done.
Even independent publishers have embraced digital platforms. Amazon's Comixology provides access to comics from Boom Studios. Dark Horse Comics, Valiant Comics, IDW Publishing, Dynamite Entertainment, and many others. While there are still challenges preventing comics from becoming mainstream, accessibility is no longer one of them. Thanks to user-friendly apps, every comic lover has a world of comics just a tap away. Not to mention that events like Free Comic Book Day and special promotions also make titles more accessible from a financial standpoint. But Free Comic Book Day is only once a year. This would need to be like multiple times a year for it to really ever be effective. And keep in mind, this is operated always at a loss. You know, that was never really a good idea to begin with, but I see the point of it.
Of course, MSK. Of course, it's gonna be a fucking loss. It's free.
I'm being smart here. I'm like Batman on the chair.
You have to operate at a loss if you're giving something out for free. But that's you also got to make the free comics that you give out. They got to be good.
Right.
Like who's gonna freaking
dude? I'm into Far Sector, man. I'm into Squirrel Girl, man.
Oh God. You actually literally read my mind because you know what I was about to say. I'm not joking. Who's gonna go back and buy more issues when they give you Free Comic Book Day Squirrel Girl? I was literally about to say that. We're done. I'm leaving the show, dude. We are way too. No, that should never happen.
DC Compact Comics put out a Far Sector Green Lantern book in Wave 1. No one ever even bothered to buy it, I imagine. No one bought that shit.
And that sucks because when you told me about the compact ones, I was like, those are great. Those are fantastic.
It's a good idea. It's a great idea. Yeah.
Yes. But they need, like Grok says there, those need to be in like super.
I heard they were in Targets. That's all I heard. I mean, I know they're in Barnes and Nobles, but obviously they would be there.
I remember I bought a couple of different things that was in where is it? I know I have it here somewhere. Fuck. I bought like right here. The Superman Doomsday one right here. That came. Ooh. It was the Death of Superman in a hardbound, and it also came with the Superman Doomsday DVD.
Oh, that's fucking awesome!
I bought that at Walmart, and I think it was like $6.
Good Lord. Superheroes have become synonymous with pop culture, yet this hasn't inspired many people to dive into the original source material. One could argue that due to the enthusiasm for superhero movies and shows, audiences don't feel the need to read comics, assuming the stories are all the same. Yep. And then when they watch the movies, they figure out that none of that shit's the same. That looks great.
Yeah. And it came with, and I also bought the Batman Under the Red Hood, which is Under the Hood, the comic, but Under the Red Hood movie came with it too.
While that may be true to some extent, I'd counter that readers still feel compelled to read novels after seeing their movie adaptations. Yeah, some will. There's no really.
It came with a DVD of the movie and a Blu-ray of the movie. And what's cool is the Blu-ray of this movie came with an episode of Batman the Animated Series, an episode of Superman the Animated Series, and an episode of the Justice League show. So it like got you to if you bought this, which was funny because the guy at Walmart said a ton of people bought this because I grabbed it. It was the last one there.
Of course they did. Yeah, it looks great. And an image like that of Superman was always going to appeal to buy it. Yeah.
Yep.
For some reason, comics don't receive the same treatment. On the other hand, manga has become more popular than ever. Well, that is also a storytelling perspective. See, some of the things with manga that people draw parallels to are obvious stuff. Like it's so self-explanatory. Just telling you right now, anime stories are just told better. And people don't want to hear that, but they are. If it's that popular, which it is, and it's really growing, that has to be literally purely a synergy thing, and the storytelling is just way better. It has to be. What other reason would it be? Coexisting alongside anime's rise in popularity, manga was always huge when I was a kid, to the point where it was normalized for everyone to read. They even sold manga at Scholastic book fairs. Remember those? I do. We had one. We had a lot of them. Just me? Man, I'm old. The point is, no one would make fun of you for reading manga. Well, comic books and graphic novels were often seen as something for kids, and that perception still persists. The mass audience just tends to view comics as sillier compared to manga. Well, I mean, yeah, I agree with that. It's understandable. People do see these things as for kids when in reality it's like when people say like, oh, this show was made for kids, and it's like, well, that doesn't really mean anything. A lot of things can be made for kids, but if it has a good stories surrounding it, then adults are going to find it enjoyable too. Comics continue to be a niche market for select audiences, and that contributes to a long-standing truth, especially when I was younger. Comics just weren't considered cool. Of course, we can also consider the rising prices of comics, particularly from DC and Marvel, driven by U.S. tariffs. Oh, Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up. These price hikes are another barrier to entry. Actually, no, it's not. You want to know why? Hush 2, at the time I was doing this video, is coming out, and comic book shops are ordering that in mass, and they know people are going to buy it. You put a $5.99 book on someone's pull list, and it's a quality written story from any character, any writing team, they're buying it. Price doesn't really matter if people like what they're getting. That never really has stopped anyone for the most part, unless you really are broke as fuck.
I don't want to get into so I obviously work in a government money job. Right?
Allegedly.
I do. And I deal with tariff all day because government's always had tariff. This isn't anything new, right?
Oh yeah, you're fine.
There's always a tariff rate and a rate against tariff. So usually what tariff does, it's a very good idea, right? In the sense of if you had 6-7 years to get it to go, because usually what that does is one of three things will happen. One, because look at this. Anytime we import anything, they tariff the shit out of us. So why wouldn't we be doing the same thing?
I agree. Yeah, makes sense.
But what it usually does is, in the long run, most of those places will not want to pay the tariff rate, right? So they will either say, instead of shipping the 100 stereos, they will ship 2,000 stereos, thus flooding the market. They want to pay one specific rate per exchange, or they do what most people do, like China. How much land have they been buying in the United States? They open up a factory and they stay here, and then they can produce the same thing with their labor force. They'll hire 1,000 Americans, pay them their normal rate that they do. That's so high. And then they'll hire their workforce and they will distribute it through themselves in America, thus eliminating the tariff. Just look up what did we do before income tax? That's how things happened. And I see it all the time. Yes, it's going to suck in the short run. It is. There's no way around it. It is.
True.
100%, because I see it already. I do government audits. I see it. I know what I'm talking about. I literally look at the numbers all day long.
So how much am I worth? Am I worth 100K a year to a lot of the hot ladies on the market?
No.
Oh.
You would be a rate against tariff.
Still impulsive, buyers aren't that selective with their money. If there's enough demand, people will pay. Yeah. I think what you're saying is also applicable too. But if people really care that much, they will go out and buy it. It's just what they're gonna do.
They will. They'll buy it.
Especially you're gonna see something and buy it no matter what. Honestly.
Well, yes, that's yeah.
Wait, you're not average people. You're mentally deranged most of the time.
I know. I know.
After all, superhero movies continue to be successful despite high ticket prices. That's definitely not true recently. Guys, superhero movies have not been successful recently. Have you been living under a fucking rock? You must be literally living under a rock if you think it's possible.
Well, it is Screen Rant, so.
If you said super movies in the past were successful like 2019, sure, I guess, kind of. And that's debatable given a case-by-case basis thing, right? Comic book movies recently have not been successful. Have you guys seen what the fuck just happened to Marvel with Brave New World? What success in that? Anyone try to see Captain EBT? The demand for comics hasn't been strong because, frankly, comics haven't been seen as cool. But there's hope on the horizon.
Really?
Yeah, because that's the only reason. It's not because of horrible writing, horrible story arcs, stupid big events constantly, multiple variant cover
distribution
schemes.
Is bad.
Distribution's terrible. Yeah, it's only because they're not being seen as cool. Obviously, if you just dumb it down to that one problem, it's all fixed, right? But there's hope, man. But there's hope on the horizon. While Marvel saw a dip in sales during quarter 4 of 2024, DC sales skyrocketed. I love how they just contradict themselves in the same sentence. Okay, so if comics are seen as cool, then why is DC sales going up then? If that's the argument we have to live by, then why is DC's work then?
I mean, what are the new pre-sale numbers on Hush 2? Because last I saw was 400,000.
That was for what the stores ordered, but let's be honest here, they could easily be lying about that.
Dude, it's gonna sell more than that. Look what happened with 3 Jokers, and that wasn't even as anticipated as this.
Your favorite comic book of all time, written by Geoff Johns?
I've told you what I think happened with that book. I've said it 100 times, dude. They were like
poking your brain.
They took Doomsday Clock and bastardized it and were like, Geoff Johns, you're done. You are no longer heading up DC. And he was like, oh, 3 Jokers, huh? Yeah, you've been waiting for that one for a while. You're gonna get 3 boners. That's what you're gonna get.
Thanks largely to the launch of their Absolute Universe. Yeah. They launched the Absolute Universe. That's, given how we talked about it on this show a lot, unless these keep up storytelling that's interesting for enough people, those sales will fall off a cliff. And you guys have to know, DC went all in for a reason. You mentioned this. Dawn of DC kind of just did fuck all. And they were like, you know what? Sales have gotten so bad, we need another relaunch.
It had 2 good books, and they weren't even like the best sellers out of all of them.
It's so crazy, man.
It had Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern was great.
Imagine this. Great. Being a comic book fan and you like DC, and DC goes, you know what? No more Justice League. That really, really popular team that you guys all know and love. Yeah, fuck those guys. We need the Titans. They're our Justice League now. Thank you, DC. That's what people really, really wanted. In
Titans, they take on big villains.
Like Amanda Waller and Beast World.
Deathstroke.
Revamps like Absolute Batman have sparked renewed interest in previous stagnant characters. Why does a character become stagnant? The people behind the book. It's the only way a character becomes stagnant. Batman just isn't stagnant on its own, unless you literally just shove it down people's fucking throats, which is when I have sex with my wife.
How is that Marvel seeing a resurgence with Marvel Rivals? What the hell does that have to do with comic books?
It doesn't, but you know how these people think. Leading to unexpected success in 2024 and setting the stage for a promising 2025. Even Marvel is seeing a resurgence with Marvel Rivals. That has nothing to do with comic books. A zero and
I mean, they have the like so-called comic books that tell their story in that game.
They have the Jeff Shark that span out of it that a lot of people think is cool, but like, I don't think that character could sell an ongoing series like 30 plus issues. That's like a cool gimmicky thing they do with him. You just saw a bunch of one-shots with that character, like Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen only exists because it was just a cool character that people were drawing on their variant covers. That's it. Spider-Gwen doesn't sell at all. Slowly but surely bringing their comics back into the spotlight. It's clear that the tide is shifting, and both Marvel and DC are setting up to get cool with fans again. You guys are just fucking bought and paid for retards. Marvel Rivals could make Marvel comic books cool again. Could be. But they only did it with one character so far, and it's a talking, walking shark named Jeff. I like Jeff. But it's like, that's one character. That's one character, people. Like, DC's been doing some good stuff recently, but here's the deal. You want to make comics more accessible? Do what DC was doing when they had their 100-page giants in Walmart. That's what you do. And you put them in liquor stores and gas stations. That's what you do. Marvel comics being more accessible might want to have someone hang themselves. But then again, I do agree they should be there too. But I'll get your final thoughts on this last topic, man. How do you where are the new fans at, man? Comics are more accessible, dude. Where are the new fans at? The modern audience didn't show up, man. And they pivoted all their business strategy around it.
I mean, I don't know. That article is very confusing because they want to sell more physical comics, but they brought up that you can get all your comics digitally. We don't know digital sales. We don't know anything. We don't know subscription numbers. We don't know, so like, how does that help? How does giving somebody a subscription, which is a be all end all, help you sell physical media?
And we're also operating under this mindset that everyone that subscribes to that is reading it, because we know how subscriptions work. You get a gym membership, you maybe go like once or twice, and you forget it ever exists. Like, why does that mindset work for these people? It's like, oh, we have a bunch of subscribers on Marvel and DC's comic book apps. So you assume that every single person has it as reading all that stuff? How many active readers are actually reading that stuff consistently?
I don't know.
It's like, we don't know, right? Yeah. But they assume that everyone that has it is reading it. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yes. I don't know. I think like the best thing to do is get good runs, maybe the DC Compact series, and put them in every freaking store that's a start. Not a comic book store, and see what happens. What happens. But I'm wondering if they're working on such a thin wire. Like if they did that, it would break them. I don't know. Warner Brothers is quite possibly one of the worst companies ever. They make just some of the most terrible decisions. I don't know. And I don't know if Marvel is willing to do something like that. You know, they seem
Never forget this. Remember when Warner Brothers gave J.J. Abrams $200 million to make DC content, and he gave them the amount of influence my dad had in my life? 0.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, guys. They literally gave him $200 million to make DC content, and he gave them nothing. Their company deserves every bad thing that's ever happened to them. They are literally fucking worthless pieces of shit. How stupid
bad.
can a person be?
They're bad, and it's J.J. Abrams, dude. Like, what's he?
J.J. Abrams, the most overrated hack to ever exist and make fucking movies and TV.
What's he gonna do? Like, I don't.
He's gonna make Justice League Dark content. He's supposed to make like Constantine style.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you trust that? Like, even saying if it did come out, would that even be something you would want? Like, no.
Yeah, but at least like if you're gonna give him money, like make him make stuff.
100%, 100%.
Imagine 100%. That guy making Justice League.
He doesn't. Look what he did. Like for other characters, like
he was the producer on that new Batman animated series that came out on Amazon. Remember that? He was the producer of that, guys. He was the producer of that.
How do you screw up an animated Batman series?
And then guess what? Bruce Timm came out. Bruce Timm was like, Batman just has no good villains. All right, just go home, Bruce. You're drunk. You're doing crack. That's actually a crackhead take. Batman literally has the most popular rogues gallery ever existence.
If he doesn't have good villains, why did he waste all that time for years making that damn show?
Also, that has to be the worst quote I've ever heard from someone in the recent years. Guys, I literally not Paul Dini, because he's smarter. He's the good guy. Bruce Timm said Batman has no good villains. My brain actually almost fried when he said that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Then why'd you work in the Batman anime? Oh, whatever. It's okay. It's okay. So, yeah, the only way to make comic books more accessible is to just have them in the places that we said. And when you actually do open the books, they do have to be readable. And then you guys are going to have to kind of do the work yourself because these companies don't do it. There's other ways of making comic books more accessible, but you can read digitally if you want. So we'll see if the moves that Marvel and DC are making to capture that moderate audience, that unicorn that they've been always trying to catch, works. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I'm MSK, aka Master Swagging, and we're going to sign out, guys. See you guys later. Peace. So, I'll ask Laps one more thing before we head out. Anything you want to plug beside my wife that doesn't exist before we head out, actually?
Nope.
You had a good time? You feeling like yourself?
Yes. I mean, not now. I'm tired now. I'm ready for bed.
Oh God! Are you saying that I tired you out and make you dead?
No,
inside?
I'm saying it's almost 10 o'clock and it's my bedtime.
Why are you so old? But yeah, tomorrow, as you guys know, I'll have a show with Savage Dad, or we'll set up something. I don't know at this point, but even if we don't have the show with Savage Dad, I will at least have the panel show with Lunchbox Warren and Gray later on anyway. But I'll let you guys know when I get the updates from Professor Savage Dad. So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show.